Welcome, everyone, to episode 124 of the Looks Like a Movie podcast. My name's Kevin. I'm here with Doug and Owen, and today we're talking about F1, the movie. But first, as always, we could talk about what we watched this past week. Owen, would you like to go first?
Yeah, another kind of week of me being really busy. So I watched, I don't know, maybe I watched one movie last week or something, and or two movies this week. So improvement maybe. But I don't know actually. Maybe I think I did watch more movies last week, so that's a lie. The first movie I watched was Don't Let the River Beast Get You. This is it's a Matt Farley starring movie that I was recommended by some friends to check out because I wanted to watch one of his movies, but I didn't know which one to start with. And I was told to watch this one in Local Legends. So I'll probably watch Local Legends soon. But this was really fun movie. And then I watched A Woman Is a Woman, just another 60s Godard. And that movie's great. Both movies great, but continuing that 60s Godard kind of period with Anna Karenina. Yeah, that movie's great. But that was pretty much all I watched outside of F1. So
Right, F1.
yeah,
Oh, and how long have you been growing that out?
I don't know. I just stopped shaving because I was busy working and I forgot. That wasn't really like it wasn't an intentional
What's
like
the thickest that it's reached?
what? I don't know. I don't really like. I what is this question?
So is your like routine you just shave all the time and never have facial hair?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like whenever it gets like a little bit like noticeable, I'll just shave.
Yeah.
But then if I'm not really like going and I haven't been going anywhere recently, I've just been like working. So
Yeah.
I just haven't like it's not been a point of emphasis.
It's
Yeah.
it adds a lot of character. Like you look, it's like subtle. It's not, but
Well,
like
he
you
looks
look
French. He
really
just
I
looks
look
different. You
fresh.
look really different.
Yeah, I'm not like
Yeah.
crazy big fan of it. It's just
I
It
kind
looks
of
good.
am.
It looks
No,
I
good.
I
just
Yeah,
kind of am.
I've been busy.
yeah.
Movies
You
been
do look
making
French. You look like who
French
do you look
French.
like?
Well, because the thing is like I think it would look worse if there was more of it. Actually, I think
Really,
if it
You
was
look
like a
like
it was
full
like
thick
really.
if it was like
no,
an
no, no,
actual
no.
mustache, I think you would look worse.
How
But
you
I
have
think
it
when it's like
now is really
light,
good.
it's good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it would get like even if it just like I just stopped. I don't think I would get like
You
it would
look
get
like
too
you would be a character in the movie The Woman and the Whore, or The Mother and the Whore. Sorry, The Mother and the Whore.
interesting. Interesting.
This
Yeah, you
guy.
look like you just like fit right in
Great
there.
movie.
No, it's one of the
Yeah.
best movies.
He doesn't have a mustache in that movie, though, right?
No, he doesn't. But he
But
looks
just
like
like,
you would be.
but
You look like
Be
you would be his friend,
I
though.
would be there.
Like you look
Yeah.
like yeah,
I would be like just at the restaurant.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Doug, why don't you tell us about your week?
My week was pretty good. Not really. Like terrible things are happening in my life, but I
Okay.
watched The Phoenician Scheme.
Maybe tone it down for the podcast a little bit. Nobody really needs to
I
know.
watched The Phoenician Scheme,
Yeah, no one cares.
which is a really good movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it or talked
Yeah.
about it at
Yeah, I
all.
think we checked it out.
Yeah.
That
You
movie's a
could say a
really.
little bit more. You missed the whole episode. You could
I
tell us
know,
some
I
Yeah,
more.
what are
know.
your thoughts and opinions? I don't even think I saw
Yeah.
you log
Where
it.
would you how does this compare to recent Wes Anderson work for
It's
you?
so good. It's
It's
so
so
good.
good. It's great.
He's so good. It's like fuck, dude. It's like it's a major. I'm not. It's a major work, dude.
Okay.
I like Wes. I really think Wes. Honestly, I feel
What did you give
so.
it?
I give it 4.5
Wow.
stars. I feel so strongly about this that it's like it's shocking. It's shocking to me that so many people are over Wes Anderson now.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me that so many people are like, "Oh,
This is
he's
like
just."
this is like the most Wes Anderson pilled I've ever been.
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
yeah. Where I'm like, wow, it's like from French Dispatch into Ashford City, into the Roald Dahl shorts, into this. It's
Yeah.
like he is honing in on his like formal style so tightly. But even that, but then he's like, so he's forming in on that, but then he's experimenting like with the narrative way more than he ever has. And I
Yeah.
think that's the part where people are like missing it, because the people that are like, oh, it's just Wes Anderson is more Wes Anderson than he's ever been. It's like where have you guys watched these movies
Yeah.
before? Because none
Yeah.
of these movies had like narratives. Like all of his narratives since the French Dispatch for all of his movies have been super interesting and super bizarre. Like not like bizarre, like not super bizarre, but like so different from any of his other movies.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
in terms of their structure and like what he's doing. I so here in the Phoenician Scheme, I think like all the surreal like kind of dream aspect of it, where like Bill Murray's playing God
Yeah, yeah.
and and that stuff, that was so shocking to me, and
Yeah.
so like that was such like a meaningful layer onto the film thematically, where I was like, wow. But then also like the way that he has it come in, like he's cutting to it with like the inverted colors, the inverted black and white,
Yeah.
and the score, and like this intensity that like this it's so interesting. The whole movie is so interesting. It's so and it's funny.
Oh yeah,
It's
no, it's
yeah.
really funny. Well, I mean, we talked about it in the podcast, but I'd
Mhm.
be interested to hear what you think because I haven't talked to you about the movie yet. About because the public perception is like kind of this like it's like a minor work and like it's just like
No, that's
which I
crazy.
for me it's like one of my favorites of his in a long time, and I think a lot of what you're
Yeah.
saying is there's a lot of new things that he's doing in terms of like the violence and like the weird like and there's just a lot of different things he's doing in this movie that kind of makes all of the comments on he's just doing the same thing over and over again kind of very silly because this movie was a recent favorite of mine just because of how different it was for him.
Yeah, no, completely. Yeah. And that's the thing about, I think, Wes Anderson detractors
Yeah,
largely, I think, are either people that don't really know anything about cinema, or
Sure.
just people that don't like his quirky nature,
sure.
which is valid, right?
Yeah, I mean, if
But
you're
it's
not
like
if
it's
you don't
yeah.
like that, you're probably not gonna
Yeah,
with the
Yeah.
but
movie.
it's like outside of people that are like, I love the Royal Tenenbaums, and I love and I really liked the Grand Budapest Hotel, but this is the fifth time he's made the Grand Budapest Hotel, and it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah,
What are you talking
very
about?
different movie.
Yeah. Anyways,
Anyways.
I watched A Moment of Romance as well, which is really interesting movie. So I talked to Kevin, and Kevin was like, we should watch this together, and then I was sort of watching all the movies by myself. But Kevin was like, we
Yeah.
should watch this
Yeah.
together.
Like what the fuck? What's up with that?
I really want to watch them. So
No, sure. And I've been around all week. It's like I've been sitting here,
Kevin's been
just kind
waiting for
of,
you.
ask me what I did last night. Go ahead, ask me what I did last night.
My bad. No, A Moment of Romance.
Won't even ask.
I think I don't want to like spill my beans yet, but that movie
Spill your beans.
is so good. I think I'm actually going to do a thing about that movie. I think I'm gonna
You're
do
gonna do a thing. You're gonna do a thing.
a whole little. I don't want to be too specific,
Yeah,
Right.
because if
'cause-
I don't do it, then you know what I mean.
yeah.
But
Sure,
I and I don't have time to work on it right now. But I think I want to do a whole thing about that movie, because it's so. I think that movie is so interesting on
Would
in every way a movie can be interesting, and
would
also
that thing require a rewatch of the movie, perhaps with a friend?
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Andy Law, he's the lead actor in that movie. He's famous in like East
Yeah.
Asia,
Yeah.
but he's not in any American movies, right? He in this movie, A Moment of Romance, he's doing like an all-time movie star like young movie star performance. Like it's like in my opinion, and people might hear this and be like, you're fucking crazy. In my opinion, Andy Law is doing like a James Dean Rebel Without a Cause level like young movie star performance, where it's like he's crazy, bro. Anyway, so I watched that and it was good.
Okay.
Kevin.
Yeah, sorry, I was typing in the chat because Julius Randle just signed a 3-year, $100 million contract to stay with the Timberwolves.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
anyway, breaking news on the pod for people who are listening to the pod 2 days after we
Yeah,
recorded.
like 2 days, like breaking
Yeah.
news 2 days late.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They're
what did I
making
watch
moves.
this week?
That's. I mean, they just re-signed
Oh yeah,
Reed and
Julius Randle's back. Nas Reed is back. Anthony
Wow.
Edwards isn't going anywhere. Nikhil Alexander Walker, though, hopefully a Piston. But
oh yeah,
we'll
to
see.
replace Beasley
To
over there.
replace Beasley, but they're saying the reports are that we're going to get Karis LeVert instead, and the Hawks are going to replace Karis LeVert with Nikhil Alexander Walker. In which case, the Hawks get a lot better, or continue to get a lot better, and the Pistons.
What if it's Karis LeVert's year?
Listen, I'm not saying I
He
don't like
can
Derek
put the ball in
Carr.
the basket. I'll tell you.
Of course he can, but he does not fix the Malik Beasley problem.
Mhm.
If you're listening to this pod,
I was about
uh,
to say I was going to give you 2 more seconds before I had to pump the brakes
yeah,
on
no,
basketball.
we're gonna stop the basketball talk. But
Oh
if you're listening to
man.
this pod, you're probably already familiar with the investigation undergoing on Malik Beasley's gambling problems.
Yes.
If you're a basketball fan, so that's the news we
Or
were
if you're
met
just a
with this
gambling
morning.
fan.
Before, yeah, or a gambling fan, which we're gonna talk about gambling in a minute,
Yeah,
actually.
we love that.
But no, this week I watched F1 twice, which we'll talk about. I watched
In what formats? Sorry.
in IMAX both times.
Okay.
Uh, I watched Jurassic Park for the 9 millionth time. People might be familiar with the new Jurassic World Rebirth movie coming out that we're going to talk about on the pod
No,
next week. So
what's that about? Is that related to Jurassic Park at all?
you won't believe this. So what happened was they took this really long break after the park, and they were like, "How do we make the park bigger?"
Uh-huh.
And they turned it
With
into a
Star-Lord.
world. Yes, with Chris Pratt.
Can I
They
ask you
turned
a
it into a world, and
Can I ask you
now,
a Jurassic Park question?
if you want,
That's quite
Uh,
personal.
who? Yeah, I'm sorry. If it's too much, if it's too personal, like
about the first movie, you mean?
Yeah, about the first movie.
Okay.
Who's the MVP of Jurassic Park?
Oh God,
What
that's like
performance is the MVP? There's a lot of great performance, like
that's like
kind of
asking me to pick
iconic
my favorite
stuff going on in
child.
that movie.
I I guess,
There's like an obvious answer, I guess, but
yeah, I guess it's Jeff Goldblum,
yeah,
but
right.
but I really, you know what I really like more and more every time I watch the movie, like 100 times over now, is like I love the scenes where it's like Sam Neill being won over by the kids after being like, I hate kids, and then like the kids win him over and he's like being all nice to them. I'm like, man, this rocks. Like I'm like this, it's so good. Yeah, it's probably Jeff Goldblum, I guess.
Was Sam Neill in the last one? Dominican, what's it called?
Dominion.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
was he in that one?
Jurassic World
Uh,
Dominican.
he is,
Yeah,
right?
let's
I
get
don't.
Is Bad Bunny gonna be in one of them?
Yeah, Sam Neill is in Dominion. Yeah, I kind of forget everything that happened in that movie, but he is in it. Yeah, so is Jeff Goldblum. So
Is
is Laura
Laura
Dern.
Dern in it in that
Yeah,
one?
they're all in it.
What
Everybody's.
happened to uh Art?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's a conversation for a different pod. And then I watched yesterday. I watched Senna, which is a documentary about Ayrton Senna, an F1 driver who, not a spoiler, tragically passed away in a race at the height of his career.
Where's the not a spoiler about
Like I
a
don't want
guy's
people.
dying?
I don't know. Well, like people, because it's like I don't want people to
Hmm.
know that, like, like I don't want people to go
Mhm,
check
mhm.
out this documentary and be blindsided by the fact that it ends with this guy like passing away, and it's all like fuck, because it's like some people might not know about F1. I don't want them to like, obviously it's a true story, but like people, there's
Obviously.
true stories that you
Yeah,
don't
I
know
was
about.
watching this
It's like when we watched Ferrari, we didn't know about that accident, and then it just happens in the movie, and we're like, what the fuck,
Yeah. And then F1, we didn't know about that accident.
Well,
I was watching this documentary about
it
Michael
actually has to do with
Jordan
the Senna
and
documentary, but
not a spoiler, he retires and plays baseball.
right.
Like
Okay.
MJ.
No, okay, whatever. You know what I meant. Anyway, I watched the documentary. It's pretty good. I'm a fan. Senna, cool guy, seemingly. Really good documentary. I'm getting a little F1 pilled. I also woke up this morning and watched today's F1 race. Only like the
Wow. Wow.
final 20
Who
something
who
laps.
won that one? How come?
What's his name? Little
Little.
what's the guy's name? Oh, they call him like little. He's like a little dude.
Little Tokyo? What is this?
No, what's his
Little
name?
Romeo?
Lando Norris. Little Lando Norris.
They call him
Okay.
that?
He's
Little Lando?
yeah, they call him Little Lando Norris. He drives for McLaren. So I was talking to my friend who's really into F1, kind of explaining the race to me because he watches every race. And
Every
so
race.
essentially, Verstappen's still like the best in the world.
Well, there were like 2 seasons in a
but
row where Verstappen like won every single race, right?
yeah, well,
Like
I don't know that. I can't confirm that.
no,
But
okay, but that was my
but
impression.
but he's essentially the best in the world. And then there's like uh, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton both drive for Ferrari, but today's race, the top two places were Norris and Piastra, who both drive for McLaren. And my friend was explaining that McLaren just has like by far the best car right now. So those guys are just like
Oh,
those two guys are on the same team and they're just kind of competing for the championship this year. So it's just like which one of them. I think Piastra's in the lead right now, but obviously this win helps. And then they're competing for. It's just the two guys on the same team competing for who wins the champ, which is funny because like in the movie, which we'll talk about in a second, you know, like they kind of it's like all about teamwork. But I imagine in real life, like they're probably good friends, but it's also like you're still a competitor. Like it's like if you two are the top two players in the sport and you're on the same team, like you're probably still just competing every race to try to win. You know, they're not going to be like, hey,
yeah.
let me help you win win the race. But
Yeah, but it
we'll get
is
there.
like a team thing though.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
for
that was something
McLaren, I
I didn't.
guess.
I was confused on in the movie because I'm not an.
Oh, can
I'm
I
not.
finish my week before
No,
we?
but I was. It was a part of this thing that we were talking about,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Because I wasn't sure about how like the points worked, or like if you just needed one guy, it doesn't matter as long as one
They
guy.
didn't really explain that very well. Yeah, I
They
understand
do a
that.
lot of like guy talking over the race and like commentating on the race and just like explaining like the
It's like
rules and
fucking
stuff.
Quidditch. Is they do it like Harry Potter. It's like
Yeah.
it's,
No, but to be fair, it's not much different than what a sports broadcast would be, right? Because when you're like a sports commentator, you are like
Sure.
explaining what's happening to people
oh,
who might be tuning
Sonny
in for the first time. You know what
Yeah.
I
complaining
Well,
over
I
his
was thinking
headset.
because there's a moment in the movie, not to derail this too much, but there's a moment in the movie where they're like third and fourth, and I was like, that's pretty good. Like that's probably is that third and fourth better than one guy in second and the one guy in 15th, or I didn't know.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
not too big of a.
Anyway, the other the other thing I watched this week was uh FX's The Bear season 4 on
Shut the
Hulu.
fuck up. Let's keep it
um
rolling. Let's
let's yeah, we could talk about F1. I won't. No, it's fine. I won't talk about the bear.
I
It's
have a
fine.
question about F1.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Like
say about the bear.
the sport.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I have a question about the bear.
Okay.
Okay, did you like the bear season 4?
It's okay. It's really like this show should have been 2 seasons long, and we don't know what we're doing, kind of deal.
Yeah, let Jeremy
Um,
Allen free, dude.
yeah. Well, so the
Let him go.
my understanding is that all the actors are under a contract where if the fifth season happens, they're coming back, but they haven't yet confirmed the fifth season. So it might be
Gotcha.
like this season ends and it's like, oh, that could just be the end of the show. But it's also like not very satisfying because the narrative of the show just stopped in like season 2 and now they're just kind of like doing nothing for 2 seasons.
The three leads in the bear, or I don't know if they're like the leads, but they're the three most famous people in the show
They're
at
the
least.
leads.
They're just like begging to become movie stars. Like you could just feel it in the industry. Like they're begging to become movie stars, and
Who?
Yeah.
they have to
I
be
I
in the
do
bear.
really like
Jeremy Allen and
Evan Mossback.
yeah,
Evan
the other
Mossberry
guy. I
and
was like,
Io Edebiri.
did you call him
Yeah.
Mossberry?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that was the third I was thinking about. Yeah, I mean,
he's the
he's gonna be
thing, right?
He's the
thing.
best part of the show, to be fair.
Really?
He's like the show
Yeah,
in
you got
an
the
ideal
thing,
world, watching the show. I've said this since the first season. In an ideal world, the show would just be about his character and not Jeremy Allen White's
the
character.
thing, Bruce
Like
Springsteen, and Barney.
Barney?
Oh, she
Barney.
is doing Barney, isn't
Oh
she?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, is that
And
for A24 or something ridiculous?
A24. Yeah,
Okay,
A24
that
is
was
Barney.
bear
yeah.
talk.
That was the
I
bear
have a
talk.
question
Yeah.
about F1.
The movie or the sport?
The
The
sport.
Okay.
How
Let's
you
get
might
these
not
out of the
even
way
you might
before.
you might not even be able to answer this question. But people root for like people have like teams. There's like oh I'm a Ferrari supporter.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
Red
Right.
Bull supporter. But
Red
they're
Bull
not. But
Sport.
like the teams in F1 aren't regional teams. So
No.
how do people pick a team?
You're like Red Bull, you know?
Or are
Um
people not like lifelong supporters of teams? Do people only follow racers? Like I don't understand how it
I don't think
works.
I could
Like
definitively answer the question, but I'm sure that it's not much different than I mean it's like, you know, if you were going to watch soccer, which
is
is
it
an
just like
international sport
I'm a
and like
Lewis
you're
Hamilton
in
like
America, you would just pick a
sure.
team, you know what I mean? Like you would just be like, "Oh,
Okay.
this is a guy that I like, so I'm going to be a fan of this team now," or like
Yeah,
whatever,
so
you know?
that's kind of like how a lot of
Like
people are with
it's
basketball too though, or I guess where it's like well, like, Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, it was like, oh, like
Sure.
I
Yeah.
like, presumably, let's say like you
Yeah, if
wanted
you're an
to,
international fan of the NBA, you have
yeah.
to like there's not a team
It's
in
so funny to
Indy.
be like, I'm a Ferrari fan.
Yeah, so, but that's what I mean. So
Just like
if for
Yeah, but
Ferrari
like
specifically, if for example, if I were to get into F1, like actually like really become like a big fan, and I would be like, I really like Lewis
right.
Hamilton, for example. I
Yeah.
just like I want to support him. I like him as a
right.
driver, whatever. Um, and he drives for Ferrari. When he retires, would it just be like reasonable for me to just always support Ferrari after that? Like I don't,
I
I
feel
don't
like
understand.
more oft I would guess at least that more people are fans of drivers than they are teams. I'm sure well
Yeah,
like
probably.
I don't know. Like
Well,
it's
I think
weird.
there's a
But
scene in
it's
the
like it also
movie.
only feels weird because you're not an F1 fan. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Well,
Like
that's
if
the
you
thing.
just
I
were
don't
an
know.
F1 fan, you'd probably be normal to you to be just like, yeah, I'm a fan of Ferrari. You
I
know, like
like the
that would
scene
just
in the
like
movie where there's like I forget if I mean I think it might be Ferrari, but there's like a ton of Ferrari fans and there's like one fan of like
yeah for
Brad
their
Pitt's
team
group,
Apex
and
GP or whatever
it's
they're
so
called.
jolly because they suck.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Yeah.
funny that he like is a fan of that really bad team. And I think it I
Well,
Yeah,
kind
but
of
that's
like
even in the crowd, they all got Brad Pitt's face on
no,
it.
I love it. It's
They don't
awesome.
have
It's
Apex
jolly.
GP's logo in the crowd. It's like they're all just fans of
Mhm.
people
Brad
like
Pitt. You
being
know?
fan not people like supporting bad teams though.
Oh, it's great. I
Like
Yeah.
love
people
it.
love
Yeah, big
an
fan of
underdog.
that.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not like it sucks after a long time, right? When your team is like
No,
disappointing you
it's
all the time,
better.
but like yeah, but for example, when I was getting into international soccer, I was rooting for West Ham. That was the team I picked, and I was supporting, and they're like they got
Yeah.
pretty good, but like when I was supporting them, they were like every season it was like, oh, please don't get relegated.
Well,
I was like,
I
oh,
would think
please don't
especially
get
in
relegated.
an F1 situation where like you're not picking the local team to
Mhm.
pick like the best guy is like such a loser thing to
Yeah, so
do.
like
That's so
if
lame,
me and
bro.
Kevin really get into F1 and we just both become fucking Red Bull fans because Max
That's like
Verstappen,
lame. Well,
that
you
would
gotta
be
go
lame.
find like
Yeah.
some like up and coming like little
Yeah,
boy.
I'm only just getting into it. I'll probably pick based if I actually start watching F1. This is my first today was my first time watching a
Yeah, yeah.
race
How
and I
was
didn't
I will
it?
even
say
watch the full
watching Drive to
race.
Survive is like also just kind of watching F1, even if you don't watch the races.
There is a joke about that in the movie
Yeah.
also, where the guy is like, "Yeah, I watched all of last season of Drive to Survive."
That is like I think that's how most Americans consume F1 is just by watching
This
Drive to
is
Survive.
this is important to the conversation that we're going to have about the movie. And honestly, since we're talking about the sport, maybe not the worst place to start is just by having this conversation, which is like uh the movie, Lewis Hamilton's a producer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lots of drivers appear in the movie,
There
including
are
Lewis
like
Hamilton.
30 shots
Uh
of Max
it
Verstappen
is
in this
yeah, it
movie.
is titled F1 the movie.
Mhm.
And it seems like it's all pretty obviously good continued promo for the sport in America because
Yeah.
it is an international sport that's not as popular in America. So my question
It is like an
is
extension of Drive to Survive, ostensibly. Like,
yeah, so it's like so they are like selling the sport. The movie also by the way killed it at the box office this weekend. 144 million opening box office, exceeded expectations.
who could have predicted
Uh
that?
yeah,
I'm
who
not.
could have predicted
That sounds
that?
like a joke, but I'm like serious. Like, who could have predicted that?
Yeah.
Um,
So the point is like, does watching this movie, you guys specifically, I think listeners could assume already my answer after everything I just said, but you guys specifically, does watching this movie get you excited about the idea of F1 as a sport? Not whether or not you liked the movie, but just like does this make you interested in F1 the sport?
a little bit, but
Okay.
uh, but it's also like Ferrari got me a little interested too. It's more like I just like racing like that. Like like specifically F1 racing, like European racing is it's just always really interesting because it is like the most insane, intense, like calculated
Yeah.
fucking sport in the entire world. Right? It's like the most skilled drivers in the like the top point like 0.00001% like skilled athletes and like their
Yeah.
thing like it's so because they mention it in this movie like there's only 20 spots in F1 So it's
Yeah.
like these are the 20 best drivers out of 8 billion people. 20.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
also learned
like
very recently that there are like F2 and F3 and like the numbers just go down
yeah,
and
well,
they're like
in
feeder league, like they're like the leagues that you work your way up through to get to F1.
yeah, Brad Pitt's character was like an
Yeah,
F2
he's
driver. Yeah, yeah, right?
they also say something in the movie about like when they go to Brad Pitt at the beginning and like ask him, he's like you have all these guys in F2 and F3 or whatever. Like why don't you just get one of those guys? Anyway.
So it is like there's something just interesting about it. So a little bit, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
want to watch Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
This movie was like I should just watch it. Yeah.
Sure. Owen, do you have any interest?
I've liked it in this format. I don't know. It's interesting. I think like especially when you're watching the movie and it's like, damn, 60 laps. It's like a lot of laps.
Yeah,
Um,
the one I watched today was 70 laps,
yeah.
but I mean, like I said, I only
I don't
watched like
know.
20
I
something.
think it's interesting because I made like a very I made a distinction to myself when watching the movie, and I was like, I like this kind of car. Like I like because I'm not big like a big car person
Yeah.
in general. Like
Like NASCAR,
I know
lame,
people like in person,
lame.
not even NASCAR, just like in real life. I know people who, like are really into like
Oh, sure. Like
cars. Like
cars,
they can
yeah.
like I had a my cousin could if we went out he could name any car and that would drive by or whatever. And that's never been like a thing of mine. I'm just like as long as my car can drive, like that's cool.
Yeah.
But like I love Speed Racer, and I love this movie. Like the racing moves in this movie is really awesome. And I even made the
Yeah.
distinction of like, 'cause I'm not a huge Top Gun Maverick fan, and I was like, there's a difference. There's similar movies in a way, obviously the same director, but I preferred like the sport racing aspect of this movie than like the
Yeah.
military
Like Top
aspect
Gun
of.
Maverick didn't make you wanna sign up for the
No, no, no,
military and
no.
fly a
But this was
plane.
like, oh, racing's fun. Like on the drive home, I was like, I'm probably gonna get a little dangerous tonight. So like, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, like, that it kind of it was. I had fun watching like the racing
Yeah.
sport aspect of the movie. I don't know if I'm gonna like go and like immediately super into
Yeah, get
F1,
into
but
F1. Okay.
I love racing in movies is awesome. It's a really
Yeah.
cool thing.
I I
Um,
agree with that.
so
I
I don't know. I love racing
I
video games too. I know you've been playing the F1
Yeah,
game.
I should mention that too.
Um,
I've been learning about the sport as
yeah,
well
yeah,
by playing
yeah.
F1 24, which
How's that
it
been?
actually it's fun. I like just started like the my career mode, and so
Okay.
I'm driving in F2 right now. So I'm just like
Oh,
winning
okay.
every race pretty
Yeah, yeah,
easily. Which I think is the point because I'm supposed to get to F1.
yeah. No,
But it's
racing
like, but
video
it's
games are
cool because the
cool.
game really teaches. Like, I was playing the game. I told my friend because like I mentioned, I saw the movie a second time. I went to see it a second time with my friend who was like really into F1, the sport, and so he was telling me about the sport, and I told him I was like, yeah, I started playing the video game, and like everything that they explain to you in the game is like so similar to the way that they do exposition in the movie where like they're like
Yeah.
this is why you need these kinds of tires on this weather and like you need these tires because they only
Mhm.
last this long and it's like and then this is when you pit and like all this like they're like explaining the mechanics of like how an F1 race works
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
video game and I'm like oh wow this is like the
yeah.
voice in the video game is just the exposition dialogue in the movie.
That's funny.
So I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that racing is generally something I really enjoy. I think specifically like going along with what you said, I'm not a car person at all. In fact, I'll take it one step further. I kind of think less of people who are car people. Those are like my least favorite kind of person that just exists
Sure,
is like
sure, sure.
Least really, I would say the Nazis.
okay, sure. Like
Like
I'm
either
you know
those guys or the car guys.
they're really one and the same if you think about it. But
It's
no, I
all
just like
aesthetic.
there's nothing that like annoys me as more than like I'm just like, I go to fucking ShopRite to get groceries, and all of a sudden there's a 200 car meetup in the parking lot of like people
It's just
like
like
it's
a
like what are you
fucking
guys doing?
That's like a
I
really
went.
specifically like Jersey problem. That's like a you.
yeah.
Does this? Do
Yeah.
you guys not have car meets around you?
No.
Nah, nah, nah,
Oh,
nah, not really.
what? Okay, I mean, like literally just not
No,
that
bro,
long
and like
ago, I went.
Jersey and Miami and like that's not like a culture everywhere in America.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, because I went like very recently to like, for example, I took my girlfriend to this famous hot dog place around me because
Woohoo!
Hot
it's like
dog.
the
There's a hot dog
best hot dogs in the country.
in
This
this
place.
movie.
I went there to get hot dogs, and they're like they've got signs up in the parking lot, and there's like the whole parking lot at the hot dog place is just like full of people showing off their cars, and they're like, car meet over here, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get a hot dog, dude. Like, why is
Yeah.
there a car meet
Okay,
up
but there's
in the
like
What's
different
Up
kinds
parking
of
lot?
car
You know?
people though. So like you don't like car meet people, but what about people that are just like really into
If you like race cars,
yeah.
that's
But
not the
that's
same kind of
different than
person.
being like
You're
a
cool.
kid who just
You're
like was like,
cool if
oh,
you
I
race
like
cars.
cars.
That's
But
like
like
Oh,
what
yeah.
if
you think that's cool?
No,
but like
yeah.
what
You're on
If
the
you know how
street,
to race a car, I'm like, oh, you're a cool
like
person.
street
Like that's
racing.
what
that's
about a
sick that you're
guy
into
with
that.
like a really expensive like vintage Porsche that he like fixes up
Loser,
himself?
loser.
Loser? Okay, okay.
Like I don't care. No, okay. Well, that's like a little bit. No, no, no. I should denote.
It's like
I don't like
Batman.
if you're like kind of like a middle aged man who has like like a
Well,
shiny
middle-aged
Porsche,
man in general is
like
just like
and you like
loser.
take care of it and like you just really care about how it looks and you like take it out. You know, you put the top down, you take it out on like a summer day. I'm like, oh, you're probably like cool. If you're like a guy who like like you're like a dude in like his 20s who has like a souped up like GT or something. I don't know what a cool car is, but just
Yeah.
like some fucking stupid like a Scion or something. And it's like loud as fuck on the highway. You like drive past me 120 miles per
Oh
hour,
yeah. Fuck that
and I can
guy.
hear you like 4 miles down the road. Like you should kill yourself, probably.
What about like rich people with
Oh, kill
like
himself.
what about like rich people with like a supercar, like a Lamborghini, like a Aventador?
How rich are we talking though? Because at some point there's a line where I'm morally opposed to their richness and not their interest in cars. You know
So
what I
okay,
mean?
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So like an Aventador, it's it's like an $800,000 car, but
Sure.
it's like they can't buy. They're not rich enough to buy that in cash. You know,
Right.
so it's like
Sure, you can. I mean, listen, whatever. That's fine. I listened to, I listened to Gordon Ramsay on Smartlist recently. They had him on Smartlist, and did you guys know Gordon Ramsay is like a really avid car collector and has
that makes
94
sense.
cars.
Yeah.
94, and he races them. He's like yeah, they were asking him what his favorite car is, and he's like, oh yeah, I take them all to like the track. Like he goes to like an F1 track or something and like races the cars that he has, and I'm like, that's
I
crazy.
think
Yeah, I mean he's probably
car
fucking loaded.
I mean,
well
no,
that's
he's obviously got so much money, but
car
100
collecting
cars?
I think is pretty lame because I think already I'm kind of like morally opposed to just having a bunch of fucking shit. Like I'm not like a
Yeah,
minimalist,
sure.
but I think that like you like it's like you don't need
I don't think
so
that you
much
need
like
94
garbage.
cars.
So
Yeah.
like but like people that have like 40 like 30 cars and
Yeah.
like they have like a giant garage in their mansion full of like these antique cars. I'm like,
Right.
Yeah, like they're
what are you doing,
Batman.
I
bro?
think if
Like
you're living comfortably and you have like a daily car and then like a really nice car that you care about, that's
yeah.
fine.
But
That's
like
No,
fine.
yeah,
it
I
Yeah.
gets
think like if
excessive
you're
at
like
a
a
point.
normal guy that had like a good job, and like you're like
Yeah,
I want to
sure. And you
buy
just
like a
have
nice
two
Porsche.
cars.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I just
sure.
want to
Like
have a
knock
nice
yourself
car as
out.
my
I know
hobby.
people
Like I think
who
that's
have just
fine.
like multiple cars. It's fine. Like
I
but
don't understand that personally because I hate fucking driving, but
yeah, the same. That's my problem is like you can't convince me that I'm gonna care more about getting on the road just because I have like well, I shouldn't say you can't convince me because watching this movie, I'm like, yeah, I'd want to drive an F1 car,
no,
but
yeah,
I don't
and
know if that means that I want to own like a Lamborghini and go 200 miles per hour on the
No.
highway,
yeah,
you
I'm
know?
sure
Well,
like
that's the thing.
That.
It's like you're on the
yeah,
highway.
Yeah.
Like,
you're on the
what
yeah,
the
Yeah,
fuck,
exactly.
dude?
exactly. But I do wonder sometimes when I'm driving my, like my fucking Corolla, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, man, can you like sometimes I just get in my head and I'm like, gosh, I just want to know what it feels like a little bit to get behind the wheel of like a really nice car and like know what it you know what I mean? Like know what it feels like to be on the road. I'm like, I bet you just drive so smooth. Like I bet you just feel so good driving like a Ferrari on the road, you know?
Ask Justin
Like
Bieber. Didn't he like get like arrested for driving 200 miles per hour in like a
and tons of
neighborhood
people
in his
did,
Yeah, I'll
Ferrari?
you know.
call him
I
up.
listen, I would if I had a I think
If
that's
I
the
was
other
Justin
thing. I
Bieber,
think
I'd
it's a
get
little
arrested
bit
too.
I think it's a little bit lame when you have a really nice expensive car and you drive like a fucking loot. This is maybe the most New Jersey thing about me, but if I get stuck behind you in the left lane and you're driving a Ferrari, you're going 55 on the highway in a Ferrari, sell your car.
Hey, he's trying to
Well,
keep
that's
that.
what
Why
I
do
mean.
you have a car if you're not
Well,
going to
that's
speed?
He's
also
trying to
like
keep that Ferrari.
supercars are such a funny class of cars because like their thing is like they're not only like really nice, like a big advertising thing is that they go so fast. Like
Yeah,
Ferraris and
and then you just have
Lamborghinis,
it
like
on the
those
road
supercars, they
going the
go
speed
so
limit.
fast.
Yeah.
And it's like if you can
Driving down a
afford that, bro,
school
you
zone.
should buy like a Rolls Royce, something that like just drives really nice if you want,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like I've always said my two like dream cars if I
No,
ever
you
had the
can't have
money
a
for
dream
them
car, Kevin. That's
are when I was younger. Yeah, now
No,
I don't care
whoa,
as much. But
whoa.
my two dream cars are a Rolls Royce and an Aston Martin. Those are
Mhm.
like the two where I'm like, because they're like, it's like I'd care more about luxury than I would about like, like getting a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, like a
Mm.
speedy sports car, because it's just like, what, like,
Yeah.
why are you going 60 on the highway in your
You
Ferrari?
only
Like
go
you
so
suck.
fast in a school zone.
Well, that's like if
Right.
I granted I would have to be such a different person because I'm just morally opposed to hoarding this amount of wealth in the first place. But if I
Yeah.
was like a Gordon Ramsay, Jerry Seinfeld kind of person, like level, like
Jerry
no,
Seinfeld famously collects cars.
yeah,
Yeah.
very famous car collector, one of the most famous car collectors. But like in terms of like
Uh,
that class of wealth, where I just have that much expendable income, right? I wouldn't, and
Mm.
my car solution would be like I would have like a private driver. I would just have like a nice car and a guy to drive me around, right?
yeah. I don't know. I I don't like even I that's the one thing I hate, and now this is just we're completely
Like
going.
Parasite, I would be the guy in Parasite.
No, now we're just completely like get it like going on a tangent, but like
Mhm.
the one thing I hate is like when rich people just like I don't the wealth thing, it's like if I was living comfortably, right? Like if I was just like super wealthy,
Mhm.
I would still just like want to do things. I think it's weird that like you're rich and you like hire people to like do like
Like
really particular like little things for you. I'm like, I don't know. Like
that
if I just had a bunch of
that's
money, I'd be like,
specific,
yeah,
man.
I'll drive my car to the store. Like why am I paying someone to drive me to the grocery
Sure.
store?
Well,
Or like they don't even do their grocery shopping. I'm like, yeah, I kind of just want to go to the store and buy stuff. Like
Yeah,
right.
why?
but
Like
what if you
that's
Like,
can't?
like middle
Like, what
class
if you go
people
to the
don't even
grocery
do their
store? What if
grocery
you go to the
shopping half the
grocery
time.
store and it becomes like you're like Michael Jackson and
no,
like
because I would never be like I'd be like I would make it very clear that my reputation as like a famous rich person is like
like
is
you're an
like
asshole. Like if someone comes at you, you're gonna punch them.
no, but
Bro,
like
Justin
how
Bieber
Adam
cannot
Sandler,
go
like it's like
grocery
if you see
shopping.
That's what
Adam
I'm
Sandler
saying.
in
Like,
public,
He literally cannot.
no, but if you see Adam Sandler in public, like you're just chill about it. He plays basketball with you. You're like
no,
that's a
do you
cool
think
guy. You know what
No,
I mean? Like
Adam
it's like you
Sandler's
treat him
getting
Sandler
like
goes
he's
to
swarmed by
normal.
Target,
people
if
asking
Adam
for
Sandler goes to
pictures.
Target, like he's gonna have a
No,
heart
but
Adam
like
attack.
you
Sandler
can
cannot go
still
to
like
Adam Sandler can't go to fucking Whole Food, like the big
no,
Whole
you'll be
Foods in
swarmed by
LA.
people, but there's like an understanding that you're like closer to them than you are to a celebrity,
But if you go to
Like it's
Target,
like
you're
don't
gonna
like
need
it's
like
like don't be, like
security
don't
and
take
shit.
it too far.
Like you can drive yourself there, sure, but you're gonna need like fucking security and like
You're gonna have to
Fuck
call ahead
security,
and be
dude.
like, "Hey,
like,
can I
Whatever.
come in
If
right
I
before
was
they open?"
no,
Target, I'm coming.
I swear by the fact, and hopefully I'm never in this position, but I swear by the fact that if I'm like not filthy rich, but if I'm like a celebrity rich, I will just like be on the subway, like driving to the grocery store. I'm not doing all that
No,
stuff.
I
I
said
don't
I
like that.
the being like, "Oh, I'd hire a private driver." That's like I would never put myself in a position where I have that
Yeah, of
much
course.
money.
I'm just
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like those are like the little things where I'm like, there's big bad things about being that rich, but like you know what I mean. But it's like those
Yeah.
are the things where I'm like, do you just like even feel like a person anymore? Like someone is picking up your groceries for you, dude. Like it's like, what do you even do?
what do you mean?
Like
What
what like it's
what do
so
you do?
stupid
What are
to
you
me.
talking about?
Well, I like enjoy life. I go outside
I
and I
enjoy
like
Yeah,
life. I
feel
they're
don't
the
need to
I
buy
enjoy.
feel the
groceries.
fucking wind in my hair when I drive. Like it's like
I think there's
holy
worse
shit, dude.
things to have people do for you than pick up groceries.
Of
Yeah,
course. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Well,
Why are you guys turning
Kevin,
this into like a thing where
Kevin. How
I'm
much
not
money have
making
you
sense?
spent on DoorDash in the last 2 years?
That's different. I do that out
That's
of
not. It's not. It's
It's
not.
no,
basically
it's so
DoorDashing
different.
your groceries. People do that aren't rich. They'll just have people like
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, I
grocery
order
shop for
I
them.
order food on DoorDash when I'm fucking lazy because I don't like driving. But no, but
I
this
rest
is
my
like
case. I rest my case. I rest
no,
my
but this
case.
is like it's like that's like if
This-
I always pick up my food if I can. It's just
Mm,
You
like
always pick up your food except for when you don't.
yeah,
no, but like the point is like I DoorDash out of convenience because of something else.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, if we're, let's
Because
let's
you
say
get
let's say
stormed.
we're gonna be recording,
Yeah,
right? Like let's say I'm getting ready to record the podcast and there's no food in my house. I'm not gonna be like, hey, let me go do this instead of getting ready for the podcast. Let me just
yeah.
order the food and save myself 30 minutes.
Well,
But
that's kind
if
of
I'm
the
just
same
sitting
mindset,
around,
right?
I'm gonna pick up the food?
That's kind of the same thing as like some guy
No, because these
getting his
people are
like a
like,
chef
because
to
these
cook him
people aren't,
food.
they're not busy. They sit around. They're rich. Like,
Okay, okay. So Brad
hey,
Pitt.
yeah, we're gonna talk about F1.
The guy's gotta be in movies and stuff.
Yeah. We talked about the racing already. Let's talk about the racing in the movie. Let's start there since we talked about the sport of racing. Let's talk about
Mhm.
how the racing looks in the movie. You said you were a fan, Owen.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think
It's
they do a
exciting.
good job of making even though it's like, it's kind of cliche and like you kind of know like they're gonna win eventually, right? They can't just be losing every race the whole movie. It you get really, at least for me, like I was excited. I was excited watching them kind of rise the ranks, and they do a good job of. It's a long movie, but they do a good job of like slowly kind of growing as a team, and you get excited for them as a team. Then in that kind of way, it makes the racing exciting to watch. And then just in terms of like, there's some fun like split screen stuff at the end, and just in terms of uh yeah, I think they do a good job with the like inside of the inside of the car stuff. There's a lot of
Yeah.
cool kind
They
of
stuck a
stuff.
shit ton of cameras in and around that car, and that was
Mhm.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I thought it was fun. And I thought even what we were talking about earlier with like the rules stuff, I thought the way that they kind of slowly built up like the team strategy and stuff, and you kind of get to know how they play with all there's a lot of racing in the movie. There's a lot of different races. And I thought the way that the kind of narrative build up and structure of the racing. I wasn't, like I said, I didn't pick up on every little uh, detail, but I didn't really need to. I thought I kind of got a grasp of it enough to both be excited for the races and kind of have an emotional attachment to the team as it kind of went on.
Yeah. I the one thing I didn't, because you mentioned the team stuff. I'm like, I really like the team, like the fact that they do like team meetings and stuff. I'm like, this is all
Yeah,
really
yeah,
fascinating. I did not know that like I get that like Kerry Condon's character and like those people are like the people you talk to during the race. I'm like,
yeah.
that makes sense, right? That like you have this like panel of people there who are like they could guide you throughout the race. I didn't realize that those people had like an entire room of 30 people on their computers
Oh
like
no, that was
calculating everything
crazy.
in the race. Like when they
Well,
when they're like,
when
"Oh,
it
you have to go at this
yeah.
time," and she like times it perfectly.
Hmm.
I'm like, "Do they have that
Yeah,
like in
No,
real life? That's
when it
crazy."
cut to like the room full of people,
really
and like the girl
backseat
stood
gaming.
up and like was looking at like the fucking CIA like wall
Yeah.
of monitors. That was crazy. That
I'm
was
like, is that
crazy.
real? Like they have like every team just has like a room of 30 people on computers just like
If
monitoring every detail?
if there's one thing that this movie kind of convinced me, or like kind of cued me into, was that there is seemingly an infinite amount of money in the sport of F1. It's
Yeah.
like literally there. It's like there
Well, they're
is.
talking about the car. They're like, yeah, that's 150 million.
It's like
Yeah,
there's so many
it's like a
like
$150 million piece of shit.
there's
I'm
so
like,
many
what the fuck?
like super technical like really expensive like college like STEM graduates like working around them. There's all of like
Yeah.
these like, and then like there's like rooms full of people and like a bunch of people with random jobs, like even like their training simulator. It's like that's a
Yeah, and they,
whole
they have a
thing.
whole room of people in there for the
Yeah, it's like
simulator.
that's
Yeah.
a whole thing, and there's people's jobs are to
But I
help them
imagine
out
those
with
people
that.
might
It's
actually just
like,
be connected to the people. Like the people who work in the simulator might just work in that normal room of computers during the
right.
race. There's
Yeah, but
probably
it's
some
like
overlap
there's
there. But
just so
still.
many employees, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
highly technical employees. Because like, compared to something like football or the NBA, right? It's
Right.
like there's a lot of employees on those teams, right? But they're not. None of them are as nearly as technical as what they're doing, because they're doing fucking like aerospace fucking science in
Yeah.
F1. It's crazy.
Yeah. There are like nah, yeah, I get what you mean. There's like obviously like people who are very technical about training in the NBA, like more specific position or football or whatever. But like
Yeah.
football probably more so because of like injuries and everything. But not to the degree that they're like, yeah, they're doing like space engineering for their sport. Like that's pretty crazy. Uh what did you think about the racing, Doug?
Oh yeah, like I disagree with Owen. I like that was the big talk. It was like, oh, what was he going to do? Because it was a lot of real racing, right? It was a lot of like Brad
Yeah,
Pitt doing his own stunts and like learning a lot about like
yeah,
what F1 is really like, which is cool. Because like the cars, similar to Top Gun Maverick, right? These cars are so fucking expensive. Like the fighter jets are so expensive, right? And it is like
yeah,
a incredible privilege to be able to get in them and use them.
yeah,
And I think it's cool that Joseph Kosinski is kind of making it his career, like a piece of his career, to communicate to the audience what it feels like to be in one of those things.
yeah,
And he
Mhm.
does it
Yeah.
effectively, I think. I think he communicates that like, oh, it's really fucking claustrophobic to be stuck in here, right? And you're going really fast and it looks crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I thought it was good. And the racing specifically, I don't think all of the races were as entertaining as all of the other ones. Like I think there were some races that I thought were better in the movie than other ones, but uh at, at its most entertaining, I was like, oh, this is like awesome. Like this is like
Yeah.
really like so like this is an incredible spectacle, super entertaining. I did think a lot of that stuff was kind of front loaded in the movie. I think the movie as it went on
Yeah,
for
some of the
way too
races
long.
kinda yeah,
But
there's probably too many because I didn't realize that, like, they were like, "Oh, there's 9 races left in the season, and we're gonna show you all 9 of
yeah,
them."
all nine of them. Yeah, which is like from like it's like yeah, they were like building like this
Yeah, and I
storyline,
mean, 3 of them come
but
in, like, a montage as well,
Yeah,
but,
because
yeah,
he's injured, so they have to
yeah, but
um,
even with it's like the montage is still, like you still see all 3 of those races,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
It's like there is a lot of racing in the movie, and I probably agree with you that there's some really exciting parts closer to the first half of the movie than the second half. Especially, I think, like by the end, you're just really convinced that spoiler alerts, he's gonna win the final race. Like it's like when you're watching the final race, you're just like you know how this is gonna go, and I think that
Yeah,
could launch us into the next conversation, which is just like the story of this movie.
sure.
And I don't know if we want to talk about performances as well, like in relationship to that. But
yeah. Let's just
let's
go.
just talk
Let's
about the
go into it.
story.
The negative parts of this movie, the story and the
Yeah.
performances.
Um,
So
um,
the story of the movie, to put it simply, is as basic of a story as you could imagine for a sports movie like this. Picture your sports like underdog story movie, like just like make up a scenario in your head if you haven't seen F1. 1 in 5 chance that you get it exactly right, like as perfectly accurate as somebody can do. Pretty much, Brad Pitt plays this aging star, Sonny Hayes, who long ago was a rising star in F1, and got a very serious injury in his first year in F1, and so he left F1. It was a We find out later in the movie that this injury was a career-threatening injury, where it's like this guy should have never raced again, but instead he spends the next 3 decades of his life first gambling and losing all of his money, and then getting it all back by traveling the world at various other races that aren't F1.
like different,
And
but like different, like
yeah, like the Daytona 500. Some of them are like awful. Some of them are like random, like backyard races for like $100 prize pool, just like anywhere he could get
yeah, like
money.
endurance races,
Yeah.
NASCAR. Like he was doing like
Uh,
everything. Yeah, F2.
and
Like yeah,
Yeah, and 3 decades later, Javier Bardem's character, who runs this team, this Apex GP team or whatever, is it Apex GP? I'm getting the name right, right?
it's
Um,
Apex something.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Anyway,
Uh,
so he runs the team. He comes and finds Brad Pitt after he wins
I
Daytona,
have a
and
question
he's
about
like,
this too, but yeah, he's the owner. I don't
he's like,
understand that deal though.
"What do you mean?"
So he's like the owner of the team, as in like he bought the team, but he could just get voted out, and like they can force him to
Not
sell the
much.
team.
That's not much different than like
You
that's
cannot
like
get
kind of
voted out in any American sport. An owner cannot get forced to sell a team in any
no, but
American
it's
sport.
like, but
well,
if you
you
own,
can get forced to sell, like, if you
yeah,
have, like,
If you're an evil
allegations of,
person,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
like yeah, if you break the
yeah.
law.
I think
But it's
also
like
Well,
like
that's also, like, I don't know,
I think
yeah, I
it's
don't know
more
how
of
it
a
works in
business
F1.
thing. It's like a business
Yeah,
thing
he's,
as
like,
opposed
forced
to
to sell in terms of
like in American sports, it's just kind of like you own the team, but it's more of like a business thing where it's like you're running this company and
well, there seems to be, like, a
you have
board
a
of, like,
board.
shareholders and stuff,
Yeah,
like,
exactly, and like
right.
the shareholders could vote out, like
well,
any
because
other
I guess that is the
major
thing where, like,
company.
in the NFL or the NBA, there's an owner, but there's also, like, a lot of owners. Or, like, there's a majority owner, and then there's, like, a
Yeah, and then
ton
there's
of
a bunch of
guys.
minority
Well, like,
owners.
Dwayne
Yeah,
Wade owns a part of the Jazz. He's not the
right.
owner of
Yeah.
the Jazz, but he is an owner of the
Yes.
Jazz. Where it's like
Right.
Exactly.
it's
Yes.
probably a similar
Yeah.
situation where there's a lot of people who own a part of that
Yeah.
Yeah.
team.
He
LeBron
owns
James
a
is like
bunch of
a
it.
like a minority owner of Liverpool, the
Yeah,
soccer
so,
club
like,
as well.
I
Yeah.
don't know how it exactly works with F1, but I'm sure that's, like, a similar situation where there's
Yeah.
a lot of people who own a
Sorry.
piece of it
Yeah.
that are like,
Anyway,
"Hey, like, if we
Sorry for
lose,
that
we're
tangent.
voting
no,
you
no,
out
it's
of
okay.
this."
I think it's a valuable question. So Javier Bardem's character, he owns this team, and he comes to Brad Pitt. He's like, "Hey, I've lost $350 million. We have not scored a single point in F1
Yeah, they're
in the
awful.
2.5 years that we've been doing it. And if we don't score a point by the end of this season, I'm going to lose the team." And so he comes to Brad Pitt and he's like, "I want you to drive for me." Brad Pitt finds
Score
out
me a point.
he is like the ninth driver that they've approached for the spot, and nobody wants to do it because
Yeah, he's like
it's a
really
hopeless
clearly
endeavor.
the desperation
Yeah,
pick. Yeah.
yeah, it's a hopeless endeavor, and also their car sucks. That's notable. Like we talked about before with F1, like if you have a bad car, you just can't win. Their car is bad.
Yeah.
So
What would be like an
that is
equivalent
like
to
the
this?
I don't know. You could think about that. But
Oh,
anyway, so
Aaron
Brad
Rodgers. It's like it's like the Steelers getting Aaron Rodgers.
okay.
It's like Aaron
Um,
Rodgers hadn't played in fucking 10 years, and then like
yeah.
they signed him.
So anyway, Brad Pitt, this like washed up former F1 guy, comes to save the team, and he's paired with their other driver, played by Damson Idris, who is like their young kind of up and coming star, similar to what Brad Pitt was, however many years ago.
Okay.
And they butt heads, and that's like and that's the plot of the movie essentially. And then they have to race together, they overcome it, and
You have to learn to
in the
play
end,
as a
Brad Pitt
team.
yeah, they have to learn to play as a team, and then in the end, Brad Pitt wins. And there's conflicts along the way. There's both of them get in severe crashes that
Yeah.
hospitalize both of them, which I don't know that is like that's one of the maybe like I guess least realistic parts of the movie is just that like cars crash a lot more in this movie than they do in real life. Like I don't think it's very likely for both of the drivers on a team to have like severe injuries in the span of 9 races. Like that probably doesn't happen too often. I know that I was researching that like since the 90s there used to be a lot of deaths in F1. Obviously it was a lot less safe in the past,
Yeah.
but since the 90s nobody has died in an F1 race, so it's
Okay.
like a lot less common, I think, for serious
I was
injuries.
waiting for somebody to die in this movie. I was like, fuck.
It's
Yeah.
like if the Wizards signed Carmelo Anthony
Like now?
like 3 years ago. Let's say.
But
Carmelo
this is
Anthony's
an
really
analogy to
old.
Brad Pitt joining the team.
Yes,
So
yes,
you're okay.
yes, yeah.
Um,
Carmelo.
Sure. What are you saying? Signed him with hopes for him to win them a championship?
Yeah, like desperation pick. Yeah. Like,
Okay. Sure.
That's
I
very
don't know that
desperate.
people need an analogy. I feel like we explained the plot
I
of
was
the
just
movie
thinking
pretty
about it.
well.
I was just sorry.
Anyway, so that's the idea. It's like this underdog story. It's a sports movie. You get the idea.
The movie. Have you seen a Gran Turismo from Gamer to Racist?
No, I
Yes.
didn't watch that movie.
I have.
It's like the
yes.
same shit. Like on
Yeah.
paper, it's like the same exact
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Well, so
yeah,
here's
but
my
I don't like that Archie guy.
Oh, I like him. Here's my point of comparison. This was like, and you guys won't know this, but watching it, it is literally there are 5 to 10 beats in this movie, like scenes pulled straight out of Ted Lasso, but just like not Ted Lasso because the tone is different,
Is
obviously.
Shea
But like,
Wiggum in Ted Lasso?
no, but there is a
Who's
Ted Lasso
Shane
character
Wiggum?
in the movie.
Is he the
Shea Wiggum?
is he is he the
He's the guy at the beginning at the very beginning that was like
Hey, you don't know Shea Wiggum?
he's his coach for the Daytona
ultimate that guy.
race.
Oh yeah.
But
the
Sarah
beginning.
Niles, who plays Bernadette, the mom of Joshua Pierce, the other racer,
Yeah.
she is a Ted Lasso character.
Can I say something about the cast?
Sure.
Yes.
I never knew of how do I say this? I watched the whole movie and then I was like afterwards I was like, "Oh, that's Carrie Condon."
Oh my god.
Because I was like, "Who's this like unknown name actress
No.
that like I've
What are
never
you
seen?"
saying?
No, I've never seen her in anything. This is the only things I've seen her in when she's in the Marvel movies and she's talking like as a robot or something. I've never seen her in anything that she's actually in. So I was watching the movie and I was like, "Oh, she's pretty good," but I don't know, like they maybe could have got
She
someone
is
I
so
knew.
good in the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah,
She's
Yes.
so good in
she
that.
should've
I've never
won- oh
seen
my
that
God, she
movie,
should've won
so
an
I was
Oscar for
watching
that
this whole
movie.
movie,
They
and I
all
was
she
like,
should have won an Oscar for
I
that
was like,
movie.
"Wow, I
She
don't
should
know
have
who
won an
this
Oscar for that
person
movie.
is."
I'm gonna be honest, Carrie Condon doing her best in this.
That's exactly. I was watching the movie. I was like, man, this is what
She
this
has
is
fucking nothing to work with, but she's doing
Yeah.
her best.
You're gonna. I think because of the nature of the story, which I don't know if you guys want to like say anything else about the story. I don't think there's much to say. It is just like as basic
It's
as
like
we
bullshit.
described
It doesn't.
as.
It's like a terrible script.
Yeah.
Not like terrible, but it's a bad script.
I think it does its job. I don't. It's like not
Yeah.
like I don't think it's like it never like when watching the movie, I was never like, this is like so bad, it's like hurting my brain. I just like
It is like
it's like
way
not
too fucking
great.
like narratively.
Sure,
There's way too much shit that happened. Like way
sure,
too many
sure.
plot points that they got to hit, and then
Yeah.
the
Which
last
actually,
fucking
there's a plot point removed that I want to talk about
and then
later. But
the last act of the movie, I'm like, this whole shit needs to get the entire last act needs to get rewritten. That's like the last act
yeah,
is I think is actually really bad.
I
But
yeah,
really like Javier Bardem. I think he's funny. I know
I
also
he's
think
doing his best.
I think
I
he's
think
fun.
he's great.
It's just like
Yeah,
I didn't know
it's
he was in the movie and he showed up and I was like, oh, I
I
love this
also didn't
guy.
know he was in the movie. I think that's my
Great performance
and
moment at the beginning when he first shows up and he's like, "Hey, can you use your
yes.
phone?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Like he's like a super villain?
Or
What
like
is
when he
going on here?
like
I didn't
when
know.
he like argues with the guy who came there about like disqualifying their car, and then like he's like yelling at him, and then the guy walks away and he like chases after him and he's like, I'm sorry. It's
Yeah,
like I didn't
no,
mean that.
there's little moments that I'm like, yeah, I mean, one of the most talented guys.
Yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
great. I think Carrie Condon is like as good as somebody can be for a character. Like she
It's like,
brings
yeah, it's like a nothing
so much to
character.
a character that like does not exist. Like this is like
Yeah.
literally not a human being.
We're
But their like romantic scenes are
so
like
fucking bad.
if
So
she was like if she was like written to be a person, they would be so good. Like she's like so clearly good at doing it
yeah.
and
Maybe
and
if Brad
so
Pitt was a person, those romance scenes would have been a little bit better too.
yeah. Um sure, let's talk about Brad Pitt.
We have to. It's you have to.
Yeah, no, it's the Brad Pitt movie. Yeah.
Brad Pitt
Doug, you go first.
starring and producing, like name above the title. All the posters are just his like him.
Yeah.
Uh, even though he's not, even though there's another lead in the movie. Um, I think I don't know how you guys feel about this. I think this is Brad Pitt is so bad at this movie. I think this is like real, like maybe like like some career worst
Yeah,
stuff for Brad Pitt.
I've seen this take.
I think he's I think there's moments where he's like pretty good, but like there's some moments where he's like it's like is he trying? Like
There's
this
moments
like
where, I get what you're saying, where there's moments where it feels like he's not giving like as much effort as he can, or like just completely phoning it in. I kind of like didn't have a problem with the performance, mostly because from my perspective, I was like, this dude's doing what everybody else is doing, which is just like he's Brad Pitt, the movie star, playing a nothing character. So it's just like
Yeah.
if you replace Brad Pitt in the movie, this immediately becomes like unwatchable. It's not that he's good in
Yeah.
it, but it's like the existence of Brad Pitt and like his face being there for a character that is like not a character. I'm like, yeah, it's like I like him because the alternative is even worse. Like
so, this is but here's the thing. I'm gonna push back on you. Let's create a universe. This exact same movie, right? Everything's the same. Turn Brad Pitt into Jake Gyllenhaal.
Worst movie.
Better
If
movie.
he's giving the same like bad performance,
No, but here's the thing. Jake
he's just
Gyllenhaal
working
can't
with the
give a low
same.
level performance though. He can't not
No,
try
yeah,
really
you're
hard in the
right.
movie.
okay, so
That's
you're
my
saying
thing.
if this movie had a better performance, would it be better? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree that I would. I'll say it. I agree that I'd like the movie more if Jake Gyllenhaal was playing the lead.
Because Jake
But
Gyllenhaal would like he
but
would
to
be
me, Jake
he give
Gyllenhaal.
there's some scenes in this movie where Brad Pitt is like fucking like he's giving you nothing, like less than nothing.
No, I agree. I think the problem for me is that the Jake Gyllenhaal example is like you're picking another guy who is a movie star level talent. Like it's like if you replace
Yeah,
Brad Pitt
give
with
a
Jake
worse
Gyllenhaal,
example.
yeah, you're making it's like that's a parallel move. If you replace Brad Pitt with like a guy who sucks, all of a sudden you would be like, wow, is this the worst script in history? Like it's like
Sure, okay.
that's the difference. Is like
Yeah.
Brad Pitt elevates a character that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think Brad Pitt. The movie opens and Brad Pitt is just like walking around, and like I'm
That
like
stuff's good. There's
locked
good
in.
stuff.
Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
locked in, and I think like yeah, like the script isn't even that good, but I think just watching Brad Pitt like in a car, it's like just I don't know, it works because he has like aura. There's like an aura to
Yeah.
him, and
He
I
does
think
have
like
aura.
His aura fades for me though at this point in his career because it's just like it's really hard to just like him,
sure,
like as
sure.
a human
But when he
being. And
like
so I'm just
walks, like when he like shows up and
yeah,
he's like
there's just like
walking, he like
undeniable
walks into
moments
the
where you're like,
like
that's Brad Pitt,
and he, like he's
and
he's like jogging around with the people behind him like he's Forrest Gump. It's
Yeah,
just like
there's good moments. I agree, for sure.
You know,
and he puts the butts in the seats, man.
he
It's like the
puts the
movie
butt.
overperformed, and it's
but
like the movie overperformed because your dad loves Brad Pitt, dude. Like it's like
okay,
there's no,
he's
like there's
trying to do this whole thing is him trying to replicate Top Gun Maverick, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
And
It's
he's
not a Top
trying.
Gun Maverick
He's
level performance.
Sure.
this is what I'm getting at. Where he's trying to do like the effortless like movie star
Yeah.
thing that Tom Cruise does in Top Gun Maverick,
Mhm.
and it works. There's moments where it works, right? Where it's like he's
Yeah.
walking with his bag and it's like that guy has fucking swag, dude.
Yeah.
But then there's moments where it's like he has to like give like a moment, like he has to give you a moment that's
Like
like
a monologue.
inspiring, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
Sure.
it's like a close up of his face, and it's like, did you just fucking wake up? Like, why
Yeah.
aren't you like
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
like lock
I
in?
I agree.
Like,
I think his best moments are when he like where like his effortlessness or like quote unquote effortlessness is like part of the character where it's like Damson Idris's character is like doing all this like super intense training and then it just like goes to
Yeah,
Brad
he's
Pitt
just
and
flicking cars
he's
at
like
the
jogging
wall or
laps with
something.
a tennis ball, and
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
yeah, this guy rocks, like it's like that's when. But I agree that when he has to do long speeches or even just kind of like talk
anytime
opposite
he has to
somebody.
say something and there's a
Yeah,
close up of his face, I'm just like, can you take this a little bit more seriously, Brad Pitt? Like,
yeah,
can you lock
yeah.
in?
I guess like I was so like the narrative is so kind of generic that like I just like
He's the producer. He could have been like, hey, can you
okay,
write me a
no.
better character?
right,
That's
yeah,
like we're asking a lot here to be like, hey, Brad Pitt, tell him to rewrite
Or
the
he
whole
could have been
movie.
like a real movie star and like brought a little bit more to the character.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's
It's
fine when he
not
also does
Tom
like
Cruise,
funny
but I
stuff.
think it's fine. I think it's sort of like I think it's just like a fine movie. It's fun to watch, and I think Brad Pitt
no,
like
I think the movie's
does
fine
his
too.
job to an extent that like works.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
it could, yeah, the movie could have been better. It's like that totally.
No, I
But
don't.
I
I
think
just like there's
Brad
just like
Pitt,
moments where I was like, bro, Brad Pitt's fucking bad right here, dude. Like, where I'm just like, I
sure,
thought that like I'm watching the movie and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
sure,
is he falling asleep? Like,
sure,
yeah.
yeah, that's my big criticism of the movie, where it's like it's a movie star vehicle. Like he's like it's like so obviously him trying to do Top Gun Maverick, like this
yeah,
big old guy movie star movie. And I'm like, you aren't fucking you were not
yeah.
taking this as seriously as Tom Cruise does, dude. You need to lock in. Like that, yeah. That's my 2 cents. And also Brad Pitt, what a terrible guy, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um
It matters a little bit.
in real life, like not like about like
No,
the
but it also
movie.
like that's kind of what I'm saying, where it's like the more it ages on you, like the more you watch every new Brad Pitt movie and you like know that this guy sucks, it's like harder to believe him as
What
like a
was he
guy
in
you're supposed to
last?
root for.
What was the
I
last
don't
thing
know
he
about
Bullet
did?
Train,
last.
Wet Dreams?
Oh
What?
no,
Bullet Train.
actually, yes, thank you. No, I wrote down. I don't know where my fucking notes are, but
I
I
was
wrote down
like,
on
what is that
paper
movie?
about this. Kevin, Bullet Train, Brad Pitt. I'm not even Bullet Train's a movie none of us like.
Mhm.
Brad Pitt is like fucking 15 times better in Bullet Train. He's giving like such a better performance in Bullet Train than this. Like
Yeah,
and that movie's not even very good. This is what I mean, because it's like in Bullet Train, sure, he has like jokes and stuff, and there's like an energy in that movie that he's kind of and he's bringing more energy to like because the movies were energetic, right? But he's like engaged. So much of this movie is like reading lines, or like he's just standing there, and I'm like, bro, you it feels
yeah,
like you're not even in character. Like
yeah,
like with like Carrie Condon, right? There's that scene towards the end where he's on the balcony and Carrie Condon is just holding onto his arm, and he's like there, and she's just like, I'm like, I dropped my phone. And I'm like, can you do like Carrie Condon's trying so hard to convince the audience that she like loves this guy, and he's just like
yeah,
does not give a fuck.
yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, and somehow, despite the fact, it's still like I mean, people just show up for Brad Pitt. It exceeds in the box office. It gets an A cinema score.
Yeah, those people
Uh,
have the internet.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
like
on Letterboxd some of our some people with like more God, I sound like an asshole every time we talk. Some people with like some more like popular taste, right? That like more like
Some fucking
mainstream stuff.
losers, yeah.
You know, like Alex, friend of the podcast, Alex from
see, but
the
don't preface
This
friend of
is
the
like
pod
this
by
is
no no
being
no
like
no
like
no
this
no 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 no
fucking
no
you
asshole.
set
no
it
no
up
no 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 no
badly.
no
You
no
were
It's
no
like,
no
yeah,
no
you're
you
like,
no
really
I
you're trying to
Alex
make
and
yourself
Alex
Alex
look
are
Hat
my
Guy,
talkies fucking losers. Alex.
from the
Oh,
Escape Pod.
I thought you were talking
oh
about
sure,
Coleman.
No, I know. That's why I
yeah,
had to like wait. I had to specify. Yeah,
sure,
Alex
yeah,
Shout
from
out
the
that
Escape
guy.
Pod. Like he loves this movie. You know, he's like, this is
yeah,
like 5-star, like what movie of the year contender thing for him. Uh, and it's like that's interesting to me.
But that's like I'm saying, a cinema
No,
score.
I
It's like
totally
this is the
understand.
average
I mean, I
person leaving
totally
the theater
understand it.
probably.
It's fun though, but
Um,
also like it's long. It's long, and I think it
it's
gets
long.
boring by the end of it.
It's I don't.
See,
I
I
was
didn't.
never
I
bored,
wasn't like.
but
I was never bored, but it's like something where it's like if I watched it again, like it'd be probably a slog.
I cannot.
Um,
I like for the first half, I was like, oh, I could watch this again because like I was like, I think I know somebody that's like interested in the subject matter that I it would be fun to watch this with
yeah.
them. But I'm like, by the end of it, I'm like, no, 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 I
I
can't.
didn't know how
the
long it
thing,
was going into it, but I
It's
never
like
like.
4.5 hours.
it's 2.5 hours.
Oh,
Rewatching
sorry.
it, like when I watched it the second
It's
time, I'm
four and
like,
a
it's
half
still. I
hours.
don't know. It's really fun, and I don't really ever get bored. I do think that like there's kind of a really clear difference between like we're making a movie for like to pull in like the F1 fandom as opposed to like making a movie to pull in people who like movies,
Mhm.
because it's like by focusing so much on the like there's just so much racing in the movie where it's like if you're a person who's showing up to watch cars go fast, you're just like undeniably going to have a great time. Like it's like if you're just like the average person being like I want to watch cars race, it's like there's so many cars racing in this movie, but it's like if you're a movie person and you want the races to have emotional stakes that are like tied to the characters, it's like if you were going to make a 2.5 hour movie, I would prefer that like yeah, the romance actually works. And like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like these things where it's like, oh, Brad Pitt's in danger. Now I'm worried about him and Carrie Condon's character, But it's like,
Yeah.
but if you're a person who likes racing, that's not even going to cross your mind. You're going to be like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
There's
You're
a
like,
million
who's
races
Carrie
in this movie. They
Condon?
never stop.
Who's
It's like they
Carrie?
never. What did you say?
He said, "Who's Carrie
Yeah,
Condon?"
like the guy next to me. Every time Lewis Hamilton appeared, like his girlfriend was like basically inside of him, and he would like fucking point.
What?
He would like point, and he'd be like that.
What?
He would like point and be like, "Lewis Hamilton, that's Lewis Hamilton." Every time he would appear, he did like fucking 20 times. He was like, "That's Lewis Hamilton."
Yeah, well, he shows up a lot.
I saw the movie with somebody, and every time Max Verstappen popped up, I was like,
Yeah,
"That's the best driver in the
Yeah,
world."
I don't know who the fuck
that's
that
the
is.
guy. Yeah.
Max Verstappen.
Is he
So
the white guy that keeps?
yes, yeah, he's the white guy that every time they cut to the podium, he's in first place.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
like it. It's like, damn, dude,
he's
these
just
guys never get on the fucking podium.
no, yeah,
All these
they
others, this
don't.
fucking white guy.
Well, and also I think it's funny because they shot. That's an interesting aspect of this movie that they shot out real races.
Yeah, so they like kind of pull. There's like really quick scenes where like you'll see for like a split second, it's like, oh, that's Chris Hemsworth, and he's just like there because it's him at a real F1
Okay,
race.
wait.
Like they just took
I
footage
wanted
from
to.
him
I wasn't gonna bring it
at
up,
the
but I
race.
swear I was like that. Like split second, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Was that Chris Hemsworth? And then the movie
Yeah,
continues, and I was like, what the fuck's going
yeah,
on?
it's
Was
like
it
he
not?
didn't film for the movie. He was just
Wasn't that
at an
Liam
F1 race in
Hemsworth?
And
real
maybe it was
life.
Liam. Maybe
Oh,
it was
maybe
Liam.
it was
It was a
Liam. I
Hemsworth
thought
Okay,
because it was
that's
so
interesting.
fast. It was so fast.
it was too quick for me to
No,
know.
yeah,
It was
I
like
think
literally like a quarter of a second.
I thought it
Yeah.
was Liam, but
Yeah.
then you said Chris, so I was going with Chris. But it was
No,
like
maybe it
was
is
that a
Liam. You're
Hemsworth?
probably right.
And then the movie continues, and then you're like, okay, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
there's a
it's
lot
like
of
that's just
like,
because they're using footage from the races.
so it's like Lewis is Liam
Lewis?
Hemsworth like uncredited like on Letterboxd, or is like how that does he
Maybe
get
I
like
don't
a
know.
You
like
can
they're
you
probably
can do
gonna throw
that.
it, yeah, because it's
Yeah,
obviously it's not gonna get credited in the movie, but like
yeah,
eventually someone will add uncredited, like like they do
yeah,
Hitler
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah.
Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Anyways,
like
moving on.
archive
Yeah.
footage.
No, there's
It,
something related to that I want to talk about
Hitler?
that I don't know if you guys have an opinion about because I mean you probably don't have much
Wait,
of
let
an
me know.
opinion, but this is like a real internet cares about it thing, which is
It's a
Simone
segment.
Ashley's character. Simone Ashley was supposed to be a bigger character in the movie. She was cut from the movie and shows up for exactly a split second in the movie. There's a scene where right before a race, it cuts to her and she puts up like the number 2 to the camera, and that's it. And that's the only time you see her. She was
is this
supposed to be
the Palestinian actress or
no,
what's her
she's
deal?
not Palestinian. She
That's a different
is
movie.
no, yeah, you're thinking of a different movie. She's from
Okay, sorry.
Bridgerton and Sex Education. I like her. She's just like completely cut from the movie. So I'll give you all the details. So she's cut from the film. She filmed for the movie at like multiple racing tracks, like traveled with them around the world to multiple races, filmed for the movie. She did promo for the movie, like kind of a good amount of it. And went to like every single event, went to the premiere, like everything. And yeah, and then she's in the movie for exactly 0.5 seconds. You wouldn't notice, you guys didn't notice her. And yeah, she's like talked about it publicly. She's like, I had such a positive experience, blah blah blah. Like I like everybody involved. Obviously, you probably have to say that stuff. Um, like, and yeah, the rumor is that she was supposed to be the Damson Idris's character's love interest in the movie, kind of like how Carrie Condon is for Brad Pitt. And Damson Idris in an interview was like, "Oh, it was like a smaller cameo role anyway, and then they just ended up cutting it from the movie, I guess because it's too long." But like a large sect of the internet is being like, "Do not watch this movie because they cut Simone Ashley out of the movie."
Like
They're
Stan
like,
Twitter? What is this?
yeah, kind of, but it's like on a lot of posts that you'll see about F1, the top comment is almost always
Are
like
they like? Is it
they
like?
cut
Are
Simone
they saying?
Ashley,
Are they
like
saying like it's a political reason why she was cut, or are they just saying like she's cut
that is
so
that
we're
is
gonna?
like kind of how they're framing it, where it
Okay,
is like this is
because people get cut
a
for movies all
woman
the
of
time.
color just like removed from the
Sure,
movie,
sure.
and like for seemingly no reason other than that the movie's too long, but which like
That stuff
that
happens all
is
the
a
time.
yeah, that is a very valid reason, and it does just like kind of makes it's like the movie is too long.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, it's totally reasonable. A producer, like
yeah,
Jerry Bruckheimer, um, saw like an early cut of the movie and was like took a big marker and was like, we need to cut this person out. We
yeah.
don't need these parts.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is too long, and like it's also yeah, like you said, it happens pretty often. It's also like she mentioned I was reading stuff about it. It's like this movie has been in production for several years. She mentions that like she got this movie before she even broke out in Bridgerton. So it's not like she was like like Bridgerton made her a big deal, at least in the TV world. Like
yeah. I
she's like a
don't.
notable like people know who she is. Before like it's like when they cut her from the movie, she could have been like a nobody, like they could like from their perspective when they hired her, she like was a nobody. So it's like
Yeah,
obviously during the filming of the movie she blew up for Bridgerton and stuff like that, and so at that point it feels a little bit worse because it's like, oh, that's unfortunate that this person that was in our movie is like a big star, and obviously it's unfortunate from her perspective to have to like go to the premiere and like promote the movie and like go to all these events and then just like not be in the movie.
sure.
And sure, if you're like a fan of Bridgerton and you showed up to watch the movie for Simone Ashley and then she's in half a second of the movie,
I mean,
that's unfortunate, but it does seem mostly like pretty typical. It is unfortunate.
should have.
It
Well,
is
I mean,
unfortunate though.
if you imagine that the Terrence Malick movie comes out and people try to cancel him because someone got cut from the movie. It's like,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
obviously different situation, but like,
That's
people
like not the
people
same
get
thing.
people get cut from
It's
movies
not,
though. People
yeah.
get cut from movies. It
Yeah, yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Yeah, of course,
yeah.
yeah, and it's like it's hard to so even if you were to like
I think trying to
If
be
you
moralistic about it is a little silly because we don't know what happened.
Yes, if it
yeah,
came out
but
that
it's like if you theorize
some
about the movie, it's
old
like
fart
is
guy.
what this movie needs a love interest for the second main character when the first love story already doesn't work. Like it's like if the writing was better, I would love for Simone Ashley to be in the movie because honestly, a person we didn't talk about yet, Damson Idris, I like quite a lot. I don't know how you guys feel about him as like a rising star in Hollywood,
Yeah,
but
I don't know if I've
you
seen him
would
in
his
anything.
biggest role is Snowfall, which is a TV show. He
Yeah,
hasn't been in a ton of movies, but like, did you
the,
guys
the
like him in
name
the
I've heard.
movie?
Yeah, I liked him. I
Yeah,
thought he
I
was
thought he
good.
was I thought
He's also worth noting a note like a pretty up there name in James Bond speculation.
he's a
He is
little
he's
old if
a
all of
British actor.
those rumors are true, but
It's like 33.
um yeah,
Yeah, he's 33. I mean,
he
that's
would be
fine.
fine. Well,
He
no,
would be 4 years
I
older
think that
than
he would be a fine
Thomas.
James Bond.
I
Probably,
think I think he'd be
yeah.
good
I
at it,
love the
honestly.
scenes where he's like smiling. Like
It's like most of the movie.
no, but like there's like the scene where like fucking Brad Pitt's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then
Oh, and he like
he
no,
starts
I like the
he
thing
starts
when he
like
does like the real
he starts
like
like
the
hitting
racer thing
emotes.
where they
He
like
starts
grab their
hitting
shoulders and
emotes
he's like
to the fucking
like
like camera. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
No, he's fun. Like, I'm like, I like this guy a lot.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch Snowfall at some point in the past. I feel like I would watch it and just not be a big fan, but he seems like a very likable star. Like, this is like a guy who I could see leading movies.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he's
for sure.
yeah. I
I
think he
just
like
no, keep continue.
No, what
no,
did he
I'm just
do?
gonna
What
like
I
did
don't I don't
I
want to
think
cut you
he
off
kind
about
of
Dance Muse.
no, I just think he kind of like is the biggest winner in terms of the cast in this movie where it's like this movie like this does the most for him. Like it's not
Yeah.
really
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like this is kind of a big deal for him if this movie is going to be as successful as it is where it's like obviously it's like a little bit challenging because at least for half of the movie he plays a sort of unlikable character, but then by the end I
I
imagine most
like
people
that
leaving the
one
theater are like I
guy,
like that guy. um
Who? There's like no
Ab-
one else in the movie.
Abdul Salis. Abdul Salis. He's from Love Actually. I loved all the pit guys.
right, yeah.
I love that little crew. There's the one
Well,
girl who fucks up and she has to like redeem
I
herself.
would think that like because they're talking speaking of the Simone Ashley thing where they're like, oh, this was supposed to be a love interest. I would think that the love interest that is cut from the movie is that girl in the pit because they're like
That's what I was
they
thinking.
very
I was
they
thinking
very
she would
clearly
be.
have like a thing like right at the beginning of the movie where he gets mad and then finds out that it's her and he like immediately
Yeah.
apologizes to her. So I'm like, is this not the love story that you cut out of the movie?
No, their thing is that he's a fucking asshole. That's the whole,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, but it's like
that's like a that's one of those what do they call it on Book Talk?
what?
Enemies to lovers or something. Like it's like
Oh,
Oh, sure.
oh.
I love an enemies to lovers. Yeah, that's
I
Uh,
mean they're
favorite.
they're not really enemies, but they're
I'm
No,
only
that's
I have a short game that I would like to have both of you participate in very quickly.
okay.
oh, is that what you're up
If that's
to over
okay.
there?
Did you just come up with this like on the spot while
Yeah,
we
well,
were
because I
talking?
googled one of these actors' age, and I was a little surprised. Not shocked, just a
Yeah.
little surprised.
Who?
I would like you to guess in a number the age difference between Carrie Condon and Brad Pitt.
How old's Brad Pitt?
Um,
Like 60?
yeah, you need to tell me how. Can you tell us
I
how
cannot.
old
No,
Brad
I'm not
Pitt
going to
is?
tell you how old either of them are because I googled one of them and they were a different age than I thought they were. That's why.
Carrie Condon?
Carrie Condon,
Sneaky
I think is
young.
going to be younger than we
Sneaky
imagine.
young.
Not like
Sneaky
no.
young.
Let's see. So she's.
Well, Doug
I'm gonna guess
Obviously,
like I'm gonna guess Carrie Condon is in her as around 40, early 40s.
okay.
Like let's say
I'm gonna take the
45 might
under.
even
I'm
be
gonna take the under. She's 33
under
years
40.
old.
30.
She's the same age as Damson Idris's character.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna guess that Carrie
I'm just playing
Condon
these
is.
games. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess that Carrie Condon is
What? Brad Pitt's like 57
44
and she's like
and
35.
yeah. I'll stick with
I
your
don't know.
Brad
Doug
Pitt
said
is
it was
57.
problematic. I don't.
I didn't say
No,
I
no.
didn't say anything about that.
Let's say I'm
How
gonna
old
guess
did you
I'm gonna
think
guess
she
14
was?
years between them. 14 years.
14 years. Okay, Owen, what is your guess?
Well, I don't know. Am I supposed to say both of their
You have,
ages?
you have to just say the number of years
Oh, well,
that
that's
is in between, the difference, if you will.
Let me.
Oh my god.
What? There's no math to be done.
Let me calculate this.
He's like googling Carrie Condon.
All right, 22 years of age.
Oh wow. Okay.
The way Owen's closer,
Oh really?
it's a 19 year age difference.
How old is Carrie Condon?
How old is
Carrie
yeah.
Condon's 41 or 42.
He's,
oh, okay.
he's
I mean, I said
60
44.
years
That's
old.
not that far off.
Yeah, no, Brad Pitt's
Uh,
old as fuck.
So I thought he was like 57.
Yo,
Yeah,
I thought Brad Pitt was like 55. And
Is
it's like,
that
no,
the
he's
age
like
that you were confused by?
Yeah, no, I googled how
Oh,
old
okay.
Brad
I
Pitt
was-
was, and he was
I thought-
older than I
I
thought.
thought
he
you
Yeah,
was.
I thought you were making it seem like Carrie Condon
thought
was like
you
a
were like
lot younger.
Carrie
or a
Condon
lot
was like
older than we
25
thought.
No,
or
Carrie.
something.
No. Brad
Like
Pitt.
no, she seems like she's like 40.
I think that it's implied the character Brad Pitt plays in this movie is like significantly younger than he is in real life.
Let's do the math. So like,
Is
he was
it? It says
in
he's
the
been.
90s,
It says
he
he's
was
been out of
popping.
racing for over 3 decades.
Yeah, so he would be 50. He would be then like exactly 50 in the movie.
No, you
then.
start depending on who you are, you start racing in F1 at like the average age is like 24.
Yeah, so if he's
Okay.
LeBron, he's like
not. You're not coming into it as like there
23.
are people
He's
who
like
start racing
mid-50s.
F1 at like 17 if they're just like amazing, I guess. but I'm pretty sure a lot of people, because you
Who's the
have to
oldest
like
guy in F1
you have
right
to
now?
train in an
Like
actual
literally
F1
in their
car when
30s. The
you're
old people do not drive an F1.
yeah.
Oldest
Well, they
guy
talk about people in the
in
movie who were old,
F1
but
right now.
um but yeah, no. I think it's possible that he started his career at like 25 or 24 or
This
whatever.
guy's
In which case,
43
3
years
decades.
old.
Yeah,
Fernandez.
you can't get too old in F1 because as you get older, your reaction times like start to really drastically like it gets to a point where they get too slow.
Yeah,
And
well, that's
you
why
have to
in Gran
yeah.
Turismo
I
they're
mean,
getting
he's getting blurry vision
all the
in the
video
movie.
game guys with a reaction time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you get above the age of 23 in esports, you're cooked.
Yeah, well,
Well,
they
Shroud disagrees, and he's one of the goats. So
who?
I mean,
Shroud. Oh, and do you know
you don't
who
know who
Shroud
Shroud
is?
is?
What is this like? What?
This is like the most famous, probably.
Like maybe arguably in America at least, like North American. You could argue he's probably the most famous
Yeah.
North American esport athlete.
What does he play?
You don't know Shroud at all?
What? The Shroud.
He was a CS:GO pro,
Shroud.
Counter Strike.
He's like good at every game.
Michael.
He's like one of those people. These are like this is another group of my least favorite people, but not like it actually like morally opposed to them. Just people who piss me off is like when you have a friend
Canada.
who just starts playing any game and is instantly amazing at it. You know what I mean? Like it's just like any game you play with your friend, he just picks it up and immediately he's like the best person possible. And it's just like, dude, now I don't want to play. Like that's my understanding of how
Yeah, I don't
Shroud is
know
from watching him
esport
play other
guys.
games. Like he's just like amazing at every game.
Well, no, obviously you don't know who Shroud is. Obviously, you don't know any esport guys.
I'm not tapped
Yeah.
into that world.
He's and at least in America, he's. Do you know who Faker is?
No, what?
Yeah, no, he's the single he's the LeBron James of esports. He's the most famous esport athlete in the whole world.
Yeah, it's like all shooter games though, right? Or like you
No,
can
see,
I guess
Faker
League of
plays
Legends,
League of Legends. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's like the biggest esports are the like
Like
League
the-
of Legends, like the MMOs.
Yeah, because those are big in Korea and
Yeah.
and China.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we're getting so off track.
Yeah,
Is there
that's a
anything that we
huge
didn't
tangent.
mention about F1? I feel like we mentioned most of the stuff that's important, at least.
I like the fireworks a lot. It was very blowout.
There's one thing, I'm stupid, that I wrote. I even wrote it in my notes and I forgot to mention. Hans Zimmer score and
the
a lot of
music.
needle drops.
Oh,
A lot of needle drops.
Yeah, well, that
thoughts?
the needle drops it kind of build onto like the kind of tackiness of it.
Hans Zimmer needs to retire, and I'm not joking.
Yeah,
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip
I
that.
don't
and
even
post it on
remember
TikTok.
this. I don't
needs
even
to
remember a
retire.
second of the score.
No, they're gonna love you. They're gonna love you on TikTok.
No, fuck Hans Zimmer.
Fuck Hans. He needs to retire.
No,
His
I'm
best
not, like,
work
the
is
biggest fan.
so far behind him. It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember the music, but outside of the
Yeah.
needle drops, the
I
needle
mean,
drops
it's just
was
like such a generic Hans Zimmer score. Like
what
Yeah.
lady that was rapping in that movie?
There's a couple.
I think it was Doja Cat.
Was
I
that?
think
What,
Doja
I was
Cat.
like, I was like,
isn't it Sexy Red?
Was it? I don't remember.
let me look
There's
at
so
the
many fucking
F1.
songs.
Let me look at the F1 plate like
I think
soundtrack.
Sexy Red is in it.
Doja Cat,
that was
Chris
great.
Stapleton. Oh, because there's like Sexy Red is in it.
Yeah, see?
Madison Beer.
Yeah, I knew that one too. Yeah.
Because it's funny because there's like Tate McRae.
Oh,
as a
Tate
song.
McRae. Yeah,
Wow.
Tate McRae. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw a picture of her at the premiere.
Ed Sheeran.
I like
remember the Ed
Tate
Sheeran
McRae.
song.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
You like
the
Tate
first one.
McRae?
I know. I like that. I like the song she does for this movie too. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. I think
Yeah.
you're probably. Do you think this is gonna sound mean? Oh, and you think Doug is the most intelligent Tate McRae fan alive?
Wow. Well, he's the only one I know. So
No, that's mean. I'm so.
How do you
I'm gonna
feel
be so
about her
honest.
collab
I've
with
never
Morgan
listened to
Wallen?
a Tate McRae
Oh,
song.
that
I don't
Morgan
know.
Wallen song is so bad.
Oh, that's the one that was like number one. I don't think I've heard this song. It's like,
Oh
it
my
was
god, the
number
Tate
one in the
McRae
world,
Morgan
right?
Wallen song is fucking cheeks.
Or maybe
bro.
I'll listen to it
Wait,
live.
let
on
me
the pod.
listen to this
What is
Doja
it?
Cat song.
It's
Maybe
What
this
I
is the best
Want.
thing
Is that what
ever.
it's called?
It probably is bad. It's bad. I listened to it on the
Keep
radio.
Watching.
It was
Yeah.
like playing on the radio when I was hanging out.
She just feels like not a real person to me. But if her
She's
music's
very
good, I believe you.
somebody on Twitter a little while ago said she feels like she's very Israeli Dubai.
Well,
Yeah, I
like
think it was
from
the
my
Doja Cat
perspective,
song.
I was being mean when I said the intelligent thing. It's just like from my perspective, it's like, is she just not the like Benson Boone as a woman?
No.
Okay.
Total
Oh,
misunderstanding.
imagine if Benson Boone was on
I've
the
never
F1
listened to a Tate
soundtrack.
McRae song. I don't know
No,
what
no,
her
no, no,
music
no, no,
sounds
no, no,
like.
no,
I
no, no.
just like
She just feels in like that
this
Gracie
just feels like
Abrams
stunt
realm.
like performing. Like it's just like
No,
I
Uh,
don't
no,
know.
no,
Should
no,
I
no,
listen
no.
to a Tate?
I
What
kind
Tate
of
McRae
like
song
the
should I
more
listen to?
Benson Boone
Sports Car is this?
exists,
Oh
the
no,
more I'm like interested in
this song
him
has
as a human being.
1.8 million or billion. Sorry, 1.8 billion streams. What song? Greedy? Is this a song that I should know?
Uh,
Greedy.
yeah, Don't
Are
Tate
we gonna
McRae's
get
good.
copyrighted if I play this?
Yes, don't play
Yeah,
greedy.
we do not play it on the podcast, but
Wait,
like
Oh, sorry.
I
greedy
really like
Williams.
I'm okay. It's okay, I'm okay. I'm in the first place. It's okay, I'm okay. Hey. It's like that's good.
Oh, I know this song. I
Yeah.
kind of like it. It's not that
Yeah.
bad.
No, yeah, I like Tate McRae.
Do you think Tate McRae is gonna be on the College Football 26 soundtrack?
No, that's a good bet to place.
It's not a,
I'm gonna say
I didn't make a
no.
bet. I didn't make a bet.
Yeah, I just love gambling.
Yeah,
What
you're
did you guys
just
think about the gambling scene when they just start playing poker in the movie for some reason? And it's like kind of the most high stakes scene in the movie is just
yeah.
them
Well, I love
playing
the thing
poker.
where they're like, he was a professional gambler.
Yeah.
Well,
And then
that's
he's like, and now
that
he's
that
living in
was
a
like one of
van.
the few jokes where I was like, that's a good line. Where
Yeah.
Carrie kind of was like, okay, we're gonna play poker, and like you're watching, and you're like, what? And then in the movie, his character is like, what are you talking about? He gambled professionally, and it's like that's a
Yeah.
really good point. You should just not do this because he gambled professionally.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought they were gonna
mean,
set up that he didn't even know how to play poker. Like I was like,
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I love that scene because then it's like these are kids on their phones.
Yeah.
these
This
freaking
33-year-old guy on
this
his fucking
33-year-old
phone.
guy. I also feel like the movie's communicating that he is a lot younger than he is too in the movie. Like his character is.
Who, Damson Idris?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, he must be like
I think
20.
they make his character look like seem like he's like 22.
But yeah, well, he's
Yeah.
like his mom
Yeah.
like gets his groceries and stuff.
Okay, let's end the
Okay,
conversation by
yeah, so-
let's end the conversation by speculating about the future of F1 the movie. Do you think that you guys would watch a Damson Idris led F1 sequel if he becomes the main character?
I've
in the
watched
next
worse
movie?
stuff. I've watched stuff that sounded worse. You know what? I'm not even joking. I think that they should make a sequel to this movie, and I think it should be F2, and I think it should be all about the F2 league. They should call it F2 the movie, and it's a sequel to this.
Yes. How many F's
And it's
are
like
there?
about like
There's-
about like a guy
there's
who like has to
3.
rise
What's the
through the
lowest?
rank.
3 is the lowest F.
I think
think
it's F3.
3.
I think
Yeah.
F3 is the lowest.
They should
Other
do- yeah.
before like under F3 is just like other racing leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should make like a yeah.
They should do a sequel and call it F2, and if that does well, they should do another one for F3. I think that would be very
I
cute.
just really like I don't know, maybe this that's like this is like that's kind of the
Did
stuff
they make
where I'm
NBA
like,
the movie?
the stuff with Damson Idris is kind of the most like
NBA
this is
movie.
Ted Lasso stuff in the movie where it's just like he goes to like talk with his mom and his mom is like, oh, like you should, and then they're like, oh, this is like social media and like you have to like make yourself look a certain way, and then he gets inspired and he's like, no, just block out the noise.
It feels like
And
I'm
it's
playing
this
my
is really
career.
like, you know, like all the like yeah, it's like all the press conferences, all of like this is how you have to perform for social media, like all these little things. I'm like, this is like a Ted Lasso episode. Like he's like a Ted Lasso character, which is
His car fucking exploded, and he was just chilling.
Yeah, it was just on
he,
fire.
He had hands.
No, he burned his hands.
But I know, but
I think that is
No,
accurate.
the
because
movie is so
these
crazy.
suits are
He just
fireproof
died.
now.
Well, like his car like explodes into like a fiery like
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
No, it's bad. Yeah, it's pretty, and it's crazy because like in the theater, you're like, well, because like the people, both times I saw it, like the people in my theater were like really getting into the racing.
Yeah.
You know, so there's these two people. The second time I saw it, just like talking the whole movie, like they think they're whispering, but they're not, and they're just like talking through the whole movie, and they're like I could tell they're like commentating the race to each other where they're like, ooh, like they're like he's like about to pass him and they're like getting all excited about him passing it, and then he like crashes and the person just like, oh my fucking God.
Oh man.
Like the whole theater just went so quiet. I'm
yeah,
like,
and then
yeah.
his like skeleton gets pulled out of the fucking thing.
Yeah. Anyway, that's F1. We've got a lot to talk about news-wise, so I'm going to remind everyone to share some feedback if you like listening to us talk about F1 and spending at least 30 minutes not talking about F1 there. You can like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. You can rate the episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can follow us at all of our links. First piece of news, the biggest piece of news, which is going to launch us into a bit of a larger conversation here. Let's just get all these things out of the way first. Denis Villeneuve is set to direct the next James Bond film. The rumor is that he's only signed on for one film, but if it goes well, he could do more, and that he will not get final cut of the movie, though it's worth noting that previous Bond directors also did not get final cut, so the change of ownership is not the reason. Just maybe some people might be expecting that Denis, because of who he is, would get final cut.
Yes.
As for the Bond casting, Amazon and producers are interested in casting an actor under 30, with Jacob Elordi, Tom Holland, and Harris Dickinson at the top of the list. Denis won't make the choice, but he will have some input. So the question, well, first let's talk about Denis directing the Bond movie, and then we could talk about the James Bond actor.
Denis Villeneuve not getting final cut and not being able to cast the movie like the lead himself. That's like a 1-2 punch where if
he's a fucking loser.
No, it's like no, I'm not doing this. Like it's like from his perspective, I if I were in his shoes, right, I would be like, I'm not. This is a horrible deal. I'm not doing this because, like, dude,
yeah, it's like cuck filmmaking.
You are like so successful. You are so successful. You have like this insane.
That's a slap in the face. It really is.
Yeah, like it's like so many, like you are so many people's favorite filmmaker. So many people in the industry think that you're like a genius, right? And it's like you're like, yeah, I'll do this your fucking franchise slop, and I'll have like minimal control over it. And it's like, what do you? Like, it's like you're basically he's like doing Amazon a favor, basically.
Yeah,
it's like,
I wonder if it has something to do with him not being connected to it long term, because it's like if he had a vision for just like a whole era of James Bond and he was like, yeah, I'll do all 5 of your next movies, then they would be like, do whatever you want with them. But because he doesn't get to do the movies that are coming after this one, they don't want him to completely like, you know, set up the trajectory of a franchise that he is then later
I'd wonder
responsible for.
Like if he had approached them, and because also he is such a big, again, like he's such a big name, such a popular filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest person you could get that's not Christopher Nolan.
Yes, they probably like really wanted him, right? So, but maybe like if he approached them and he was like, I'll sign on and I'll do 3 James Bond movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe then they would have let him. They would be more open to him picking.
That's my thinking, because it's like it's like if he makes a Bond movie that is exclusively his, like his exact vision for Bond, and then he's like, and now we're gonna hand it over to this guy who sucks. It's like,
right,
you know, that's not
which
really...
is what they literally did with Daniel Craig, James Bond. I mean, he wasn't like but
so it's like, you know, I guess I could see it from that perspective, where it's like, we don't want you to completely like shape the new era of James Bond and then abandon it.
Mm-hmm.
But then would that mean that, like, you know, if this movie is like a massive success, then like does he get creative control over the second movie and the third movie if he comes back? I don't know.
He's way too successful. He's way too successful, also at the peak of his success to be doing this, bro.
Yeah, literally. We've also kind of I think we've all kind of said it publicly already, but like I think all of our opinions is just that like it's kind of a boring move for who they picked to be the director of the next movie. And like me more than I more than the two of you like Denis Villeneuve, but like I don't even want him doing this. Like I don't think that this is exciting, and I could like kind of picture a Denis Villeneuve Bond movie in my head, and I'm like, do I need, you know, like, am I gonna like it? Sure. But like is that something that I needed to happen? Like, not really. I kind of would just prefer him to go elsewhere and prefer Bond to be something entirely different. I don't see how on paper, especially without complete control, this could be much different of a James Bond trajectory than like what we just got out of the last one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe they have a vision for something that I'm also not confident that Denis is like the guy for like taking it in a totally different direction. I don't know what it would look like or like what their plan is, but you know, we've speculated, for example, that we want like you know, like a lighter Bond and like something that's like funnier, and like I don't know that Denis is gonna be the guy to like nail that tone.
It's just like super self-serious, super sexless.
Yeah, I also don't think that's gonna be their approach to the movie. I think his like, them confirming him as the director kind of confirms that that's not the movie we're gonna get. But
it's
I don't know.
we can't have fun anymore.
We can't.
Fun's over.
Yeah, movies used to be
Bro,
fun.
Wes Anderson, James Bond.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
yeah, that'd be
it
cool.
never happened.
People would get really upset about
Racist.
There
that.
would be riots in the streets of London.
Would he like?
He would cast somebody crazy.
Rupert Fine.
But like, would a Wes Anderson James Bond movie look like a Wes Anderson movie, or would they be like, you have to make it James Bond, but like you're
Dude, he's
directing
not
it? Like,
doing that movie if they're not letting him do
He-
whatever
he-
the fuck
he
he
cannot.
wants to do.
You think Wes Anderson is capable of doing
no,
like
but I'm just saying that would be such a
coloring in the
like.
fucking lines, bro?
No, but you know what I mean? It's like, can you
Yeah.
imagine that there's just like one movie in Wes Anderson's entire filmography where it's like this just looks like nothing like the rest of them? It just
Yeah,
like looks like a
man.
James Bond movie.
It's like when Stan Lee did like copywriting in World War II. It's like
Yeah.
So the other part of this is the actor. Doug wanted to
I
participate
gave you guys
in this.
homework. I gave all of you
Yeah,
guys
Doug gave us
homework.
homework to participate in this fun exercise where we pitch an actor to play James Bond. Would anybody like to go first?
Yeah, if you would like me to, I can go first. I can kind of
Take it away, Doug.
So here is my pitch for the actor, for the casting of the lead role James Bond, right? Okay. Everybody get ready for this, right? I think that James Bond should be taken in a new direction. I think that James Bond should we should like not only differentiate ourselves from the Daniel Craig era, which has 2 fantastic movies and 3 movies that you never really need to watch for any reason. And also not only differentiate ourselves from him, but also from all of the other eras of James Bond, right?
Okay.
And really stick out and be new and modern and you know, I think that James Bond should be Dua Lipa. I think Dua Lipa should play James Bond.
No, because let me tell you something funny. Because what's the name of Dua Lipa's?
She's under 30. She's under 30.
Callum Turner.
Callum Turner. So Callum Turner is in the James Bond odds. And when I was, I'll spoil this. I wrote down my James Bond pitch. I have a written pitch.
Oh,
And when
wow,
I was going through my pitch, I was coming up with possible jokes, and I was like, what do we get out of a Callum Turner James Bond other than a Dua Lipa James Bond song?
Yeah.
But Doug is suggesting that Dua Lipa just plays James Bond.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So when I initially came up with this idea, when I was like, oh, we should pitch to each other like who we would cast as James Bond, right? When I said that, I had Callum Turner in mind. I was like, oh, I'm gonna pitch Callum Turner.
Yeah.
And then as I was developing the idea, I was like, no, fuck it, dude. I like Dua Lipa.
Callum Turner's 35, by the way.
That's okay.
That's fine.
No, it's not okay.
Can we? I don't want to like just to be sure. Callum Turner is not your pick, right? Owen?
No, Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa.
I'm making sure.
I'm
it's not
specifically
Owen's pick.
picking someone under 30 just for Amazon's preference.
Yeah, I just want to gauge the field on like what we think about Callum Turner since he's not any of our choices. Would we?
He's like not a real actor.
I would be. He has a great look. He looks great.
I
haven't really
good
seen
in
him
Narnia. He was really good in Narnia,
but he has a really amazing look. I think he would look great as James Bond. Like not like I don't know how else to put it because I haven't really seen him in anything, but like he has that energy for it.
Sure.
I think yeah.
I see the vision with Dua Lipa. I'm worried about her ability to act.
They'll figure it out, bro. They'll figure it out.
You know, it's like James Bond. It's like you're not just signing on to act for one movie. You're acting in like 5 of them. And you'd have to know how to do it.
But I think like woman James Bond is something that I think would be cool to just happen in general. It's not gonna happen this time.
I mean,
I think, like, you know, like somebody super sexy and super popular and like has like a mystique to them. Like to you know, I think
I mean, not that long ago when No Time to Die came out, I was like really strongly advocating that like I just would be happy with them handing James Bond over to Lashana Lynch. I think she's awesome and like I would enjoy that. And obviously,
she was like the new 007 in that movie.
Obviously,
right?
people when she was the new 007, people were incredibly racist and misogynistic. So if they actually handed her 5 films in a franchise, I think they would probably like, you know,
somebody would die. Yeah.
So So that's like just totally unlikely. But at the time, I was like, that would be all. Like, she's very good at like the physical like combat stuff. I'm like, she's awesome. Like, it's like
Yeah.
I would love to see a woman James Bond if it's somebody like Lashana Lynch. I, Dua Lipa, we'll see. I mean, that's not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna
Thankfully.
happen. But I'm also
Um,
just like a big proponent of pop. I think pop stars should just act more. Like just
Yeah.
try at least.
Mhm,
Yeah,
Like
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I got something for that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and yay or nay on Doug's choice?
I mean, what like am I? What does that entail? What does the yay or nay entail?
It's just like a yay or nay. Listen, we're just pitching James Bonds. It's like if the pitch is bad, Doug's got to come back for round 2.
I
That's
think
all.
it is a funny pick just because Doug did bring this idea to the table. I was like, hey guys, you gotta cast James Bond. And then
Yeah, just for him to pitch to him.
yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd watch the movie.
Okay.
I'd watch
There we
the
go. I think that counts as a
I
yay.
watched the movie. I don't know if it's
But would you just watch it no matter what? Because it's James Bond?
no. I've
He's
seen
never
like
seen a James
I've
Bond
seen like
movie.
one of the old ones.
Yeah, but that's like in the past. It's like he's a child. Like now he's now he
Yeah.
can finally go see a James
Yeah, I
Bond
can.
movie.
And also,
Yeah,
like when we're
man.
pitching the actor, I'm also thinking like we don't know
Well,
who's
so
gonna
yeah, so like
direct it or
Dua
whatever.
Lipa
Like yeah,
in the Denis universe sounds awful. But I think there's a filmmaker that could totally take that on, and
Mhm.
it could be a great movie. But I don't know, that doesn't really work for Denis. Not that that's a part of the equation here.
Yeah.
right.
But I'm just thinking of
Yeah.
all these things, you know.
Yeah, I'll vote yay. 2 thumbs up
Sure.
for Dua Lipa. Owen, you want to go next or you want me to go next?
You can go.
Me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is my sales pitch for James Bond. First, non-negotiables out of the way. He's got to be British, right?
Sure.
And
course.
as rumors suggest, they're interested in a young star. My actor is 32 years old, so only a little bit over the 30 mark.
Wow.
Dua Lipa was 29. I
Um,
want to throw that out there as well.
Yeah, she is. She doesn't come in under 30. My actor's 32 years old though. He could play in his 20s,
Okay.
and in our recent casting process have noticed that a lot of people will
There's
have
a
wide
big
range of
range. There's a
ages.
big range that people think they can play.
More specifically, talking about his age, my actor has continued to get more attractive with age, just like our previous James Bond, Daniel Craig. Since his breakout role in 2013, he was often the subject of jokes for his unique appearance, until more recently, when people have applauded
This
his
is Josh
glow up.
O'Connor.
No, I know who it is. I know who it is. I know who it
Suddenly,
is.
everybody is shocked at how buff and handsome he is. So if this is any sign, it means that if they want James Bond for the next 20 years, his looks can only improve. This is the perfect guy if you want an attractive Bond. Speaking of that look, let's talk about the physical type we want for Bond, right?
Yeah.
Because it seems that the average person wouldn't believe Bond if they were to choose a skinny 5'7" actor like Tom Holland, right?
Yeah.
And they also might not believe the opposite if they cast a heavy like Henry Cavill. He might be too large,
too fat.
But a 6'2" actor who is muscular enough to fight, but not too muscular so as to never be beaten.
Oh,
That's the perfect body type right there, right? And finally, let's talk about what my actor brings to the table in terms of acting talent.
Okay.
Because as we've discussed, we don't yet know the direction that Denis Villeneuve is going to launch the new era of Bond into. We know certain characteristics that Bond famously possesses. He's intelligent, he's cunning, he's independent, and so on. So here's a guy whose limited track record already shows that he has everything necessary to play a typical Bond, but also that he can play a different type of Bond if they want to shake things up.
That probably didn't
Did you write down your prediction for whom I got?
Yeah, but I don't think I got on the camera, so I think it was.
Oh no! Tell me, because I'm about to reveal his name. So tell me what your prediction is.
I don't want to say it now.
No, say it. What?
Wait, you say it.
No, you say. You're the one who has a guess. Why would your guess is irrelevant if I tell you who it is?
Is this Will Poulter?
My actor is Will Poulter.
Okay.
Just to get into his roles, right? With Will Poulter, yeah, there you go. With Will Poulter, you could mold him into any Bond you want. We've talked about directors going in there and leaning into a fun comedic side of Bond. He's an actor who broke out in comedy. His big breakout role, We're the Millers, and he's continued to revisit comedy since then. If you want a typical Bond who is an independent, cunning womanizer, he's got plenty to show for it as well. Here's a guy who has an MTV award for best kiss, right? You know what I mean? He's he can lie right to your face. It doesn't get more cunning than when he plays a pharmaceutical sales rep for Purdue Pharma in Dope Sick and convinces doctors to buy OxyContin from him, or when he's playing a villain in Maze Runner. You know, he's got an
Yeah, wow.
unbelievable ability to lie on screen. He can wiggle his way out of situations that Bond will present. He can also fight like Bond. He carried a gun recently in Warfare, or he fought with his fists as Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, he
What are
can
you
do it all.
The gun recently. Can you continue?
And then in the newest season of FX's The Bear, he's returned to reprise his role as a guest character where he's a sensitive team player. So if they want to lean into that side instead of the traditional Bond, he's shown that he can have a sensitive approach to masculinity and work with his team. So any direction that you take James Bond in, Will Poulter is ready for, and that's why he's my pick for the next James Bond.
Wow.
I thank you so much for taking my silly thing so seriously.
This is I can't win, Doug, because if I pulled up with that and then Doug said Dua Lipa, I would have got mad. If I did that much work and then Doug was like, "Yeah, what if Dua Lipa was Bond?" I get mad.
I would have. I don't have time to write up a whole thing right now, but I would.
That took me literally 10 minutes.
This thing.
I did that in 10 minutes.
No, yeah, I know. And if I spent 10 minutes and Doug said Dua Lipa, I would have been upset.
I'm serious about Dua Lipa, bro.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about my pitch?
What, Doug? You don't like it?
No, what do you think, Owen? What do you think about Will Poulter?
Well, I knew it because you said he was ugly. That's or you said you said they like bullied him for his looks or something, and now he's like.
Well, in the past,
no,
he
I know.
was made
No,
fun
you,
of
like
a
because
lot
you
for
said
like
they made fun of him. Now he's like buff. So I was like, oh, I know.
Yeah, now he's hot.
Yeah, I think there's worse choices. I think he could be
for
solid.
sure.
He could be solid.
Worse choices for sure.
And to be clear, this is not like my favorite choice for Bond. I just kind of looked at the list and was like, what would be a fun thing to pitch? And then I kind of
How
found
old is
what I
he?
could work with.
He's 32.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 32.
Yeah, I think he could do it.
I think
he's
that's a
like-
good age. I think early 30s is a good age to play Bond. I don't know why they're looking for
Yeah.
somebody in their 20s.
Yeah, well, that's ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
20s is really young. Early 30s, I think, is like the sweet
And there's
spot.
not like the pool isn't that great for the 20-year-old British actors. I'll tell you.
Well, that's what when the Broccoli family still had the rights for Bond, they were looking for somebody to cast, right?
And they're like,
and they
"You guys suck."
and like they had like that statement where they were like, yeah, young actors just aren't serious enough. Like that, like there was like an official statement they made before they
yeah, and that's the problem. I tried to pick somebody young. Obviously, like my ideal Bond would probably just be an actor I like who's older than 32, but but I tried to stick with somebody who's close to that age range.
That was like the problem the Broccolis ran into. There was just no young people they liked.
Yeah, I also
Will
didn't.
Poulter is fine. Is whatever.
Okay.
No,
All
it's
right,
like
that
if he
sounds
got
like- that
cast
sounds
as
like
Bond,
me.
would you get excited? Like, would you be like excited?
I like Will Poulter. I'm like, I wouldn't
I
think
the
that I
Bear.
would-
Maybe if
I
I watched the
think
Bear, I would feel a type of way.
He's not like a big character in the Bear. I just like I like him in general.
If Paul King or Edgar Wright or someone I liked, like I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fun Bond, and then they cast Will Poulter, I'd be like, I like that casting. I think if Will Poulter is the Denis Bond, like it doesn't move a needle for me, but I think he could totally fit in like with everything around him. Great, I think he could do the job.
Yeah, if we were pitching for Paul King, I feel like I could have knocked this pitch out of the park, but sadly that's you know.
I know. I guess like my perspective on Will Poulter for what I think that he does really well, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a Will Poulter scholar, right?
Yeah.
But like I think that's like in my mind, I'm like he like Meet the Millers, right? Has like a really like
For the
good
Millers,
face for comedy. Like he's a like
Well, that's what
he
I'm
could
saying.
be
Like,
a funny guy really
he could
well.
like be like a funny
Yeah.
Bond.
I don't think he has swag, bro.
I think he does.
Really?
He's like
maybe if I
but
watch
he's
the Bear,
like
but I don't
think
like
you haven't
he's
seen
not
him. He's like
swaggy
Jack
to me.
now.
I know.
Yeah,
I watched Warfare,
No, yeah,
bro.
he's a
You
big
watched
boy.
Warfare?
I watched
No,
Warfare.
but like, yeah, you did watch Warfare. No, like when you see him in the Bear, I think like he's not even a big character in the Bear, but I think it's just because like his character, one, he's just like very attractive in the Bear, but like it's also I don't know, like the way he carries himself in some of like his more recent roles where he's like, you know, where he's clearly like grown into his body and is like handsome. I'm like, I think he could do it.
Even as Adam Warlock, he's really silly as Adam Warlock too. I think he does.
Yeah,
that
that's
as
like
well.
James
Yeah.
Gunn. Like that's
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about his
No,
performance, where it's like
I
I think
think
that's what he does well. Like I
I
think he's
think
good
he
at
can
doing that.
be a kind of like, well, like the other thing I referenced was like Dope Sick, where it's like in Dope Sick, he's like that show, he's like a sales rep, and he's like he dresses up in a suit every like he's only in the show wearing like a suit and like having to look like a like a handsome guy because he like has to convince people that you know what I mean, like he's a sales rep, he has to like win people over. um I don't know, I think he has it a little bit. I think we'd have to like see it. There's not like a perfect role of his to point to be like this is a guy who has like the charm, but like I in my
Right.
head I just feel that he does have the
No, and
charm.
that's fair. I mean, listen, mine was entirely speculative.
Sure.
Dua
Yeah.
Lipa has no roles to
Yeah.
point to. She was like in 2 minutes of Argyle.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
Owen. This
Okay.
has been
Yeah.
building up
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
whole time.
So I have three actors.
No,
Oh,
no,
that's
no,
not
No,
fair.
no,
no,
no, no.
no,
But
no, no, no,
no.
no.
I'll tell you why, and I'll pick one at the end. But I'll say I have one for Doug because Doug picked a pop star, and then I have one that's similar to Kevin's pick, and then I have one
Okay.
under Amazon's restrictions.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So Doug picked Dua Lipa. So I said, okay, Bond. What if Bond was Harry Styles? There you go. That's
Okay.
Doug's pick. And then
Jugs?
Kevin picked like a
Did you
guy who
call
was
him
like
Jug?
in his early 30s, who that was like a good pick. And so I was like, I've always been pushing the Joe Alwyn kind of thing.
I do like Joe Alwyn. I
Joe
do like
Alwyn is
he was
incredible.
he was on my short list. I put together like a
Oh,
short list of people that I was considering, and he
Yeah,
was on
I
there.
think he
I
would
really
dude,
like
be.
Joe Alwyn is actually in a fucking
He's
incredible
34
idea.
years
yeah.
old, so Amazon say might say too old, but I think Joe.
No, yeah,
If
he's
I
he would be
this is
ideal.
Wait, we need to make this
this is
happen,
like
bro.
my
Joe Alwyn is a
serious. This is
great
like my
idea.
serious pick is like Joe
Yeah.
Alwyn. You know, maybe too old for Jeff Bezos, but and then I was like, okay, who's I need someone under 30. And I'm looking at all these British actors under 30, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's Tom Holland, Harris Dickinson. Wow, like this is not a great. You have the Ace of Butterfingers, and like I was
Asa
like I
Butterfield.
was like,
That's my
oh,
guy.
this is rough. So I think we're going really baby Bond here. We're going baby Bond, and
We're gonna pick like a 17-year-old.
Owen Cooper is gonna be baby
The
Bond.
the is that the kid from Adolescence?
Yeah, he's gonna play baby Bond. So those are my kind of pop. But Joe Alwyn I think is probably the
Is
ideal
he
pick for me. But
an adult yet?
he's 15 years old.
No, he's a little kid.
Owen Cooper played baby Bond. If that's what you want under 30, there you go, in Amazon. So yeah.
You know what?
If they're gonna do like a, they're gonna do like
We're
a,
thinking outside the
they're gonna do
box. I
like
mean,
three
fuck.
movies, right? They're gonna do the Denis movie with Joe Alwyn. Then they're gonna
So
do
like what is like the
Edgar
plot
Wright's
of
Edgar Wright's Harry Styles movie, and then I don't know, somebody's gonna direct that Owen Cooper movie.
to be fair, by the time that the movie actually like
He'll be
starts
like
filming,
18.
he'll be like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Um
just got out of high school, he gets shoved into Bond camp or something. I don't
what would be like the plot of a Bond movie where the Bond is 18 years old?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like he can't do half of the stuff that Bond does as an 18-year-old. Owen's also never seen a Bond movie, which is worth
Yeah,
noting.
so
But it's like he's not gonna go to
you
like
can't like
you know
do
what I
it.
mean? He's not gonna like be on a mission where he has to like go flirt with like this like gorgeous like ethereal woman at a bar and just be like an 18-year-old Owen Cooper.
Maybe he like gets a lot taller, and
Sure. Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean, I don't
know.
know if that's
I
gonna
don't know. I don't know. Under 30
Okay,
is
in
tough.
response to
Under
your
30 is tough. I will say.
Owen Cooper is that's such a crazy idea.
Okay, how about this?
They want a
Now that
baby
we've heard
Bond.
all three of yours,
Right.
pick one of the three to represent yourself, and we'll vote yay or nay.
Okay.
I assume it's Joe.
Joe
Alwyn.
Alwyn is
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
voting
yeah,
him
yeah.
that's a
into
yay.
I'm
That's a
voting
yay.
him
Joe,
into all.
honest to God, Joe Alwyn just as a pick is like the best pick.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
it would
out of the
it would
three
Can
people,
never,
I?
and then the
like
Taylor Swift
that we
fans can never
suggested.
say anything ever again because they're always like he was in these little indie movies, and if these James Bond, no one can. Joe Alwyn's name forever will be vindicated, and he will be a
Yeah.
god amongst men.
We've named a couple of them already, but I want to run through some names and just get yay or nays from you guys, just out of curiosity. Starting with the three that they listed as their top choices: Jacob Elordi.
Nay.
I don't see it.
Beautiful man,
I'm
but
like in the middle.
no.
I'm like in the middle.
I
I'll
like
say
him as
neutral.
Frankenstein. I like him as Netflix heartthrob, but like
I like him and he might be good, but if they announce like, oh, Jacob Elordi to play James Bond, I would be like, I would be disappointed. I would feel disappointed. So I have to say nay.
I wonder what his haircut would be, you know?
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
everything.
Tom Holland, yay or nay?
Dang.
Nay.
This-
So obviously.
This is the worst out of those three. Like,
yeah.
it's like this
By
would be
far.
so laughable.
He's gonna be Spider-Man, Nathan Drake, and James Bond at the same time. At
Yeah.
the same time?
Like, especially with the Odyssey thing happening, like it's like we're really pushing for him, and I think there's a total chance where he could have a great next 10 years. But if he picks Bond, it's over. Like
I think
he's
that
cooked.
it's a logical career move for him to make. I think that it's a ridiculous casting on like the studio side though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, sure.
Harris Dickinson is a yay for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would
yeah.
say I would have said him.
Out of the
Just
three,
like,
he's like
I didn't want
my
to
top
say one
choice.
that was
He's
in
also-
that list just because that would be like lame.
Yeah.
But
He's
think
got
he would
like
be good.
everything the part requires.
I think he
a
could
little
do
bit.
it like in his sleep. Like I do think he
Yeah.
could kind
And
of.
he's also
show
a
up
great
and-
actor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just think
great
it would
actor.
be-
He's got the look. He's got like
he-
all of it.
Out of like any British actor in their 20s, he's the guy that most has like the look.
Yeah, and he has
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
sex appeal thing, like where
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you said, like you said with Owen Cooper. I don't think Tom Holland can go in there and like flirt his way out of the room. And I mean Jacob
Right.
Elordi
He's too
can. but,
boyish. He's
you
too
know,
boyish.
I
James
think-
Bond isn't boyish.
And just like the baby girl, I think Harris Dickinson can really do that.
Yeah.
David Johnson.
Yeah, I almost that was almost
That's
my
a yay
that was
for me.
almost one of my
My
picks.
only thing about David Johnson is like he feels too small. But other than that,
that's what I was thinking. I was like,
other
he's
than
like
that,
a little guy.
I think he has like
I think he could
as
play
an
bigger.
actor,
Like,
I think he really
he
has an
plays
ability
these
to
kind of
play the
timid
character.
roles, but I think he could like if he plays Bond, he's gonna play Bond. So I think he
Yeah.
could do it.
I think he could really play the character. I'm just worried about how it would like physically look on screen
Sure.
because he's just like kind of a small
Yeah.
guy. But like
How
in
old-
terms
how
of
old is he?
nailing the character, he would be one of my top choices.
How tall is he? 5'9". He's taller than Tom
5'9".
Holland.
Yeah, but he just feels he's like a. I mean, I guess he could put on some weight. I don't know that would make him look better.
Honestly,
for the
I'm gonna
role,
say
but-
nay.
Who's
But
the shortest Bond?
better than Tom Holland for sure, though.
Sure, yeah. Aaron Pierre.
Yay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yay for me too.
Yeah. Owen?
Owen's looking a little like a nay here.
I mean, it's like one of the like least exciting ones. He could probably do it like pretty easily. Like he'd be fine. Like I just like that one would be kind of like okay for me. So I'll just go nay for the game, but like I wouldn't be like up in arms about it. I just like I'm not like super excited about. I don't know.
I said yay. I'm not super excited about it either.
I think
but,
the
like,
Rebel Ridge of it all scared me away.
Sure, but it's like the thing, the reason, because it's like Harris Dickinson and Aaron Pierre are the only two guys so far where it's like if it was real, like today announced, I would be like sick.
Sure, yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah.
no, I'm a
Also,
yay
I
on that
think
too.
too, like he could be. I think a lot of these, like pretty much any one of these guys, like it's all like a filmmaker thing where it's like if the filmmaker was like, I want Tom Holland, I was like, okay, let me hear you out. Even though if it sounds ridiculous. But
Yeah, like what's your take?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Callum Turner, we all already said yay, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Callum
sure.
Turner.
Sure.
Here's one from F1, Damson Idris, yay or nay?
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah, that's
comfortably for
yeah,
me, I think.
I'm gonna say nay, but
Okay.
he's also, it's like, but I don't really care. Like he would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last one, Josh O'Connor.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, because Denis directing it, I'm like hoping that he doesn't, because of just I want him to be in good things. But this would be like top choice next to Joe
Yeah.
Alwyn for me.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a funny sentence, but yeah.
Those are my
Those
guys.
two
man. I
incredible
love those
actors.
guys.
Those are like Joe
Yeah.
Alwyn and Josh O'Connor are the two best like actors out of anybody we've named, probably, right?
Yeah, it's not a
like,
great
they're-
group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, some of them are good though, but it's like those guys I think are really like we're gonna be talking about those guys in 50 years,
Yeah.
Sure.
when we're in the retirement home recording the podcast, episode 3000 of Looks Like a Movie.
Yeah. Let's move on to the rest of our news because there's some other big stories here, starting with The Social Network Part 2 is in the works, with Aaron Sorkin set to write and direct. It will tell the story of the Facebook files, leaked documents from inside Facebook, and it will portray Facebook's role in the 2020 election, as well as its effects on teens, violence, and countries outside the US. It's currently unknown how big of a role Jesse Eisenberg will have in the movie. Thoughts?
On paper, that's cool.
Oh,
Oh,
Colin
what?
Sexton's
Well, on paper
Colin
it's not,
Sexton's a
because on
hornet.
paper
Oh my god.
Aaron Sorkin's name is
That's
next to
big. Colin
director.
Sexton's a hornet. Wow.
Yeah, I
Well,
saw that.
even like the concept on paper, I'm like, I don't even know if I want Aaron Sorkin to write about this anymore. Like, I would like if it had a
No.
different director and a different writer, I think this could be like one of my most anticipated movies because I think that it is really interesting. I think there's so many
Yeah.
stories in the tech world that are happening like today and have happened in the last 10 years that are so rich and so
Yeah.
interesting that that we haven't been tapped into yet.
The thing with Aaron Sorkin, though, is that like if you put the right director next to him, I wouldn't care if he's writing about it because they would be able to like pull him back. You know, like that. Like
Yeah.
if this was just announced and it said David Fincher is directing The Social Network 2 with Aaron Sorkin writing the script, I'd be like, cool, movie of the year.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm so excited for the Luca Guadagnino OpenAI movie.
right.
Because it's a similar, takes place at a similar time as this Social Network movie will, in the
Yeah.
same industry, or like some very closely aligned
Sure.
industry, right? And it's like that movie, that's such an interesting story, and that's going to be so cool. And this could be a really interesting. It's a very interesting story in real life. I think Aaron Sorkin's going to make it terrible.
I think this is going to be
probably.
an awful movie.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one of
Oh,
the worst
wow.
movies
Ever.
that
Yeah,
comes
give
out
like S. Darko
whatever
or
year it
something.
comes out.
If Jesse Eisenberg is in this movie, like, don't make the movie. Like,
That's the other thing.
ridiculous.
If you're gonna recast, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if they're recasting. I'm wondering if there's like a world in which they talk about Facebook without Mark Zuckerberg.
well, like Mark
there.
Zuckerberg's not even a character in the movie.
Yeah, well, because the way that they've talked about it is where like if Jesse Eisenberg comes back, like he might come back in a world where like Mark Zuckerberg is not the lead of the movie. He is just like in scenes.
This is
movie.
no longer the Social Network 2. This is just a different movie. This is just a different thing. It's not a sequel to the Social Network. It's just a different thing. You're just making another movie about Facebook.
Because it's like if it's about all like the I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
You know what I
Maybe,
mean?
yeah,
it's like
maybe
it's not a
maybe he
sequel
will
at
just be the
all.
main character.
Yeah.
But I agree. If Jesse Eisenberg's not coming back to play Mark Zuckerberg, this is like pointless. It's pointless already, but it's even more pointless if he's not in it because there's no. That's like one of the great casting choices of the last however many years. You know what I mean? Like you literally could not have found somebody better to play Mark Zuckerberg in that movie.
A plus talent. I just
yeah.
no Fincher, no
ridiculous.
Eisenberg. It's like, come on.
Yeah, no, it's looking rough. Speaking of things looking rough, our next piece of news: Vin Diesel says that Brian will return in the final Fast and Furious movie. What that means?
Shout out Brian.
AI.
Yeah. Right.
Funny, he was in a film called AI. Yeah, no, AI.
Alan Iverson.
That's bad, bro. I know that sucks.
Yeah.
Shit sucks, bro.
Yeah,
Vin Diesel in that
bad.
video where he says that is fat as shit. I was talking to Kevin about this like 3 hours before we started recording. He's a big ass guy, bro. His head looks fucking massive in that video.
He's putting on weight because he has no other movies except for
so
Fast. He doesn't have to keep up his image anymore.
Vin Diesel's like the funniest guy. How do people like Vin Diesel become like so famous and get so much power in Hollywood, right? Because it's like he does not conduct himself. He does not seem like he's a very smart person, and he also like is not charming.
Is he like the biggest star with the least amount of aura? Like just like guy who you just straight up kind of don't like.
I mean, Will Smith has no aura anymore, and he's
but
one
Will
of the biggest stars ever.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, Will Smith was my favorite actor.
Yeah, I mean, he used to, but he's so washed now.
No, he's lost all the aura, but like there's still something. There's still like Will Smith there.
Yeah.
So like I just like I'm always gonna.
Do you like his song?
That's, like, he's...
Hassan?
No. Do you like his song?
Oh, his song.
No.
What is it? I like pretty girls,
Yeah,
girls,
yeah.
girls,
Yeah,
girls,
no, it's
girls.
bad.
Oh, he's got aura.
Um,
I think he still got it.
no, he just
I
not
d-
still
no,
got
it's,
it.
he doesn't still have it, but like when
I
I
don't
see
know,
Will
man.
Smith, I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, I love
When he
you.
slapped
Wait,
Chris
wait.
Rock, I was like, he still got
What he has
Oh,
that freestyle,
Chris
right? Where I'm
Pratt
like, this
has
guy is
it's
over,
pretty
it. Oh
low.
bro.
yeah, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt's really low on the
Will
Hollywood
Smith has
star
that
aura
freestyle where
list.
he goes like, just because I'm an action star
Yeah,
doesn't
that,
mean I'm
yeah,
not gonna act bizarre. And I'm like,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
are an
I
old
think that
man.
shit is good.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
I think it
I mean,
kind of
that's the Fresh
it
Prince
kind
you're
of hit.
talking about.
That's Will Smith, man.
true. No, well, Chris Pratt's a good answer too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Chris
mean,
Pratt's
Chris
got to be
Pratt
low on the aura
is
list.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's like, are we talking about public opinion though? You know, like with Vin Diesel, I'm like, do people like? Does anybody like Vin Diesel?
Well,
You know
people
what I
like
mean?
Vin
Like,
Diesel. People like Chris Pratt.
sure, yeah. No, I mean a lot of people like Chris Pratt, like
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
mean, if you're making it like the public opinion, like I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
don't know
don't
what the
know.
public thinks.
Not like today. There's another guy where he's just washed, so I'm like cheating. But like Johnny Depp.
oh,
Oh
Like
yeah,
sure.
that's a big like
I mean,
public
that's like,
opinion.
is he
Well,
even a star anymore?
yeah, it's
yeah,
not like
he's in movies still. Yeah,
Sure,
like
but
in
and
like,
he
France.
looks fucking like fat
yeah,
and
yeah,
uh,
movies that nobody watches. I mean,
yeah.
Woody
that's
Allen, public
Woody Allen
opinions,
still has aura.
public
Woody
opinions
Allen
probably.
for sure still has aura, bro.
No one's
Don't even.
watching. No,
You know for sure out of
no, but I'm
anybody.
saying like
yeah.
public opinion,
Yeah.
I
right?
mean,
His, I mean, he's
if Owen's got something to say about it, public opinion on Woody Allen is on the
he's
rise. So.
he's on the rise. He's got a new book coming out.
Does he?
Yeah, I think it's September.
Okay,
I
that's
said
a
I
piece
think
of news.
September
That's
is
a piece
when
of news
Woody Allen's new
for
book comes
listeners.
out.
Charlize Theron will play Circe in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Her filming will be in a couple of weeks.
So they're still filming the movie.
who
That's
said that?
crazy that there's like
Someone
a
said they
teaser
were done.
trailer coming out.
Yeah, but like,
What the hell? I love Charlize Theron. Great
Yeah.
actress.
No, I
This
mean
is-
another
she
A-lister
was
in
on
the
the
cast
cast
full of
though, right?
A-listers.
This is just announcing her role.
Her character.
I think before it was like a rumor, and now it's like confirmed by
okay.
her that she's in it.
I just thought
This
she was
is-
already in the movie.
Because she was asked about it on the red carpet, and she confirmed that she's filming in a couple weeks. So now it's just like,
Okay.
you know, we know she's going to be in the movie.
This
But we
might
probably
be-
mentioned her name in the past.
This might be the most stacked Hollywood movie ever in terms of
Yeah,
like
probably.
the talent involved.
What if
like
it's,
top
like,
down,
really
like the
bad?
cast and the
It would be
could
really-
be.
it could be really
What if
funny
Tom
if
Holland
it's,
is like unwatchable?
But it's like we're talking about like some of like the most like influential, like notable, like
Yeah.
Hollywood stars playing like minor roles. Like a bunch of
It
them just playing
is, like,
minor
I know-
roles in the movie. Like
I know we mostly like the guy, but the way you're explaining it, it is funny to picture like all of the biggest stars of a generation gathering around a Tom Holland centered movie. You
well,
know what
Matt
I mean?
Damon's the
Just
main
like all of
character.
Matt Damon,
yeah, but you know what I mean? Yeah, sure, but you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
Tom Holland being the
Yeah, I
second
mean-
lead
He's the
in a
second
movie
main character,
surrounded
like,
by like
yeah.
the
biggest
young
talents of
actors,
our
the young
entire
actors
generation.
it's a dire section of.
I don't
like,
dislike Tom Holland as a human being.
No, I don't even dislike
Yeah,
him
I'm
as an
sure he's-
actor. I just don't think
he's
he's
a
in a good
great
movie.
guy.
Yeah,
I'd love to help him with.
I'm
his-
actually like super sure
Yeah.
he's like a really nice guy. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Like,
he seems
just, like,
awesome.
he can't be Spider-Man and Bond. It's just like, that's too
Yeah.
much, man.
Here's another awesome guy. Michael Bay is developing a new Transformers movie that he will potentially direct. Wants to direct.
Well, I was gonna say I don't think he's directing another Transformers movie.
He just like
Yeah.
tweeted that out. Like, what is he just wants to do it?
No, it's just the report is that he wants to direct it.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Where's
I'll
Mark
make a prediction.
Wahlberg get to?
Because there was also that.
Oh, speaking of stars with not too much aura. Mark
I mean,
Wahlberg.
depending
he's
on who
he's
you
got
talk
aura.
to.
You go to Boston, he's got a lot of aura.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like Shia LaBeouf. Speaking
Yeah.
of
Shia
Transformers,
LaBeouf still has aura.
yeah,
Well,
he has aura. I mean, it's like, can you have bad
It's like-
aura?
it's like-
there's
She's
there's such thing as negative aura. Shia
Yeah.
LaBeouf has the
He's
worst
like not.
kind
He's
of
like
aura.
a bad guy, but like
Mhm.
there's an aura about him.
Yeah, but like there's like,
undeniably.
you smell something.
Yeah, like people want him to die.
Yeah, there's, like,
Like, that's
there
the-
was like
the
crazy
aura is like
energy.
people want him to kill
Like,
himself.
he walked like you see like Shia LaBeouf walks into any room on the planet and the entire energy completely
That's
changes.
worse.
Yeah, like
Yeah, he brings
So
an
he walks
aura.
into any room and immediately people are like, "Bro, I gotta get out of here."
I mean,
it's like he commands attention. He's got aura, bro.
yeah, it's
But
Yeah, sure.
yeah. John Voight.
yeah, we just go
I-
down. We should, Adam
I don't
Driver
think.
has got
Also,
aura.
also, I said like mainstream Hollywood star, and we're talking about Shia LaBeouf in 2025. It's like I don't know if this really
These
meets the
guys are
criteria.
mainstream, man.
Yeah, they're in Megalopolis.
John
They're gonna be played
Voight
in
like
IMAX.
is like the president of movies. I think. I think
Yeah,
that's
John
That's
Voight's
true.
literally
Yeah.
in the president.
He
Mel
is. Yeah, he is the
Gibson.
president of Hollywood.
John
That's
Voight,
right.
Mel Gibson.
Angelina Jolie's
Dad.
dad.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Who's got more aura?
He's the grandfather of
Angelina Jolie.
He's the disowned grandfather of Brad Pitt's children.
Wow.
Angelina Jolie has incredible aura. She's like
Yeah, she's like
Oh
a
yeah,
sneak.
who has the top 3 auras? Top 3 auras in Hollywood.
she's like #1, dude. I'm not even kidding. Not literally. No, not literally. But when I went to see Maria at New York Film Festival, and she was just like on the stage, I was like, I have never felt this way in front of a celebrity in my like. I've seen LeBron in person. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel that way about LeBron, dude. Like she's on the stage, and I'm just like, that's Angelina Jolie. It's like it's incredible when you're in a room. with her.
Top
Like,
aura.
she's got to be high on the list.
I think.
I mean, Tom Cruise is probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Also.
I think Tom Cruise has lost a little bit of aura recently, but I agree.
Sure.
Tom Cruise is up there.
Mm.
I was
But
gonna
I'm
say
just saying,
Anne
it's
Hathaway.
very.
Speaking of
Yeah,
another, I think
okay.
she's really up. Like her aura is kind of
Okay.
like crazy.
Just like people who like you're just like, you know what I mean? It's like that's what I'm saying about Angelina Jolie, where like you're just like you're in their presence and you're just like, dude, the room is like a room doesn't feel like this ever.
Like Robert Pattinson. No. Yes. No.
I mean,
no?
putting him in Angelina Jolie conversation, you know what I mean? This is like
Sure,
stars who
okay.
like exceed their image as an actor. You know,
Right.
it's like nobody even thinks
like
about
Selena
Angelina
Gomez
Jolie
or something.
like,
No, come on.
what?
Benny, you're talking about Benny Blanco's fucking girlfriend? What are you talking about?
Shut up, Benny.
Aren't
man.
they engaged or married?
Shut up, Benny.
No,
I
they're
don't give a fuck.
Yo,
We're talking about Benny
wait,
Blanco now.
Benny Blanco should be James Bond.
Okay. All right. Maybe let's move on to the next piece of news. Daisy Edgar Jones to star in Georgia Oakley's adaptation of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility.
Daisy
Okay,
Edgar
this is unrelated a little bit. I was looking at some filmmakers yesterday. This is related to Sense and Sensibility. You know who is like the most disrespected, like greatest filmmaker of all time that people don't ever talk about him like this? Fucking Ang Lee, the guy that directed the old Sense and Sensibility movie.
I want to watch his Sense and Sensibility. Really
I was
bad.
looking at his filmography and I'm like, bro, this guy's just like one of the goats. Actually,
Yeah, I think it mostly.
Like
if he was a
nobody
white
talks
guy,
about,
it
yeah.
wouldn't be different. It would be
legitimately one of the goats. It's crazy that he
Ang
doesn't.
Lee's great.
Nobody ever talks about him. Yeah.
So this movie, this Sense and Sensibility, is directed by Georgia Oakley, whose debut was Blue Jean in 2022, a movie that I really liked.
You told me to watch this, and I told you I
did,
would.
and
then
you
2
never
years
did.
passed.
Yeah, well, 3 years now.
Yeah, then 3 years passed.
This was like one of the great debuts of that year. So I am really curious about. It's kind of a crazy jump too to go from directing like a little movie and then just like I'm doing a Sense and Sensibility adaptation as my second movie.
Yeah,
But also, like,
people make jumps.
But it's like
this
like
movie might
yeah.
not be a big deal though. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly. It's like this is like it's like a different.
No, I mean
property than,
Daisy. I was.
What are you about
It's an
to
awesome
say, Owen?
project
What are you
for
about to say?
Maybe Daisy should be Bond.
Sure,
I'd watch
I
it.
would love
I'd
that. I
watch it.
actually fucking would love that. If
These-
Daisy Edgar-
Listen, I'm the biggest Daisy Edgar Jones fan. Probably.
Or at least just, I would.
alive.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm just saying, like we get Joe Alwyn and Daisy Edgar in that movie, and then
Daisy Edgar Jones is a great James Bond pick. You know who else is a great one? This is fucking a different Daisy.
Ridley.
Yes,
Ridley?
Daisy Ridley would be a
Yes.
fun one. Out of nowhere too, like
Wow,
that. The
man.
crazy comeback.
She's like, this is like a thing that I actually really am upset that she is just like in movies that nobody
Too bad
watches
she's
now. Like, it's
33.
really fucked. She is a really talented actress, like really talented. It's
Adam Driver
crazy.
is the only guy that made it out of those fucking movies alive.
John
Everybody else,
Boyega,
got
also credible.
Yeah, John Boyega would be also somebody whose name I would put on the list. He was one of my top choices, but there's just no way they would pick him.
No, yeah, I mean,
But-
I'm super on the record about John Boyega. I used to, I don't know if I ever brought
He's
this up on the
awesome.
podcast. I used to say this all the time to you guys, where I was like, I think John Boyega should be Superman. That's like a super out of
Yeah.
out of
That would've been awesome,
box
too.
pick for me.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think John Boyega is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just like,
Just
dude,
put all of those
Daisy
guys in a
Ridley. Like
movie.
I watched one of those Daisy Ridley movies that nobody watches, and I'm like, dude, she's so
Oh yeah, where
good.
she
Yeah,
was
I
like a
watched
swimmer with Alzheimer's or something.
I didn't watch the swimmer one, but she's
No,
probably
I
great in
watched.
that
It
too.
was called oh my god, it's a movie by a James Bond director, Cleaner, where she's a window cleaner. It's
Right.
what's his name?
Martin Campbell.
Is it Martin?
Yeah, Martin Campbell.
Yeah.
He's the James Bond director. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that movie's not very good, but she was fine in it.
No, I
It's
think she's
probably
like
hella
way too
easy to make a
talented to have
Bond
just like
movie.
disappeared.
What's
Oh yeah,
going on?
Martin Campbell made like a James Bond movie, and it was fucking incredible. And I don't think Martin Campbell's like
Because it's just like there's like
yeah.
so many of them to use as reference points, and then you can just like cast anybody because it's a Bond movie, so you have all this like clout. It's like you want to be in a Bond movie.
That's the other thing about James Bond, which goes back to like why I think this is such a terrible thing. This whole like Denis Villeneuve thing doesn't make any fucking sense. Is like he also isn't selecting the writer, right? That was a
Yeah.
part of that, right? And it's like
some random guy.
but so much of James Bond like is like oh like how is the villain? What are the locations? You know, like that's like such a big
Yeah.
part of it. So you're
Yeah.
like, what is the concept here? You
Oh,
know, like anyways.
James Bond
Oh,
goes to Hawaii.
But Daisy Edgar Jones' Sense and Sensibility
Let's
sounds like
show
something you guys
Alan.
would like.
It's just like
I will
Donovan.
watch
It's
it,
like
of
Donovan's
course.
brief, but it's just
We'll do a
James
podcast
Bond.
on it.
Here's another movie that you might be interested in watching. Dave Bautista to star in a rom-com, The Romantic.
Yeah, put
The
him in
film
James
follows a
Bond.
man who is secretly a best-selling romance author named Francine, and when his identity comes under scrutiny, he hires a woman to pose as Francine at a romance fiction convention.
That's
No director attached yet, but they do have writers.
really cute idea. This sounds like a movie that could be just bad.
Bad. Yeah. This is like a real like
Kind
could
of
be
Argyle.
like actually like sweet
Yeah.
surprise of the year, and could be like just
So no director attached.
no, but they have writers, and it's
So
a
it's like-
rom-com, so
it's
that
like
like
a-
kind of matters more in this case.
Okay,
And like Dave Bautista, I'm assuming is producing, right?
call my
Or-
line.
Can't confirm, but
Okay, but
So who attached him?
but he's talked about how he wants to be in a rom-com for quite a bit now, and
Or he just
I do think it's a sweet idea to have Dave Bautista in a rom-com. I think that's what you guys didn't watch. The Last Showgirl, right? Okay, never mind. Point is
Pamela,
he's
though,
kind of
also
like
should be in the
like a
Bond
love
movie.
interest adjacent in that.
she should be
movie.
a Bond girl.
put everybody in the Bond movie.
It should be no next James Bond movie. It should be
Loveless James Bond.
Owen Cooper and then Pamela Anderson is a Bond girl.
Yes.
So the
age gap.
the writers of this Dave Bautista rom-com, it's a writing duo who has done, let me know if you guys know about any of these movies. Leap Year, Maid of
course.
Honor,
No, yeah.
Josie and the Pussycats,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Can't Hardly Wait.
That's literally my top 4 on Letterboxd right now.
I mean, I know
No,
Josie.
I mean these are like these are like rom-com writers. Like this is like what
yeah,
they do.
they're just looking for like a guy in charge.
Yeah. This could be.
Yeah,
listen,
just
that could be
Celine's song, I think, is busy. I mean, not busy.
Oh,
Yeah, Celine
no.
Song. I mean, she also is like her whole thing is she's a writer. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
she'll direct someone else.
What about this one? Andrew Garfield and Thomasin McKenzie to star in Paul Greengrass's The Rage.
Oh, Thomas
Paul
and McKenzie
Greengrass-
also should.
I
be
was
in
about to say
the-
Thomas and McKenzie. Put her in the Bond movie. Make her James
Okay.
Bond.
Paul Greengrass, the director of Captain Phillips, Jason Bourne, Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum. There's no plot description. It's just Andrew Garfield and Thomasin McKenzie in one of his movies. But
I like those people.
I like those people. Too.
Paul Greenass, I haven't seen anything. I don't think.
Thomas
yeah.
and McKenzie's so good, bro.
yeah, I like
She's
her.
so good.
Kind of like her career is interesting because like she kind of came out of the scene as like, oh, she's like really talented, and then she hasn't really had like the moment yet, right? Where it's like,
Yeah, I think that a lot of people have just been hesitant to. I feel like it just has to be people have been hesitant to cast her for some reason and roles where
There's
she should
this,
be getting cast in.
yeah,
I don't know if you guys ever see these, but there's these TikToks. This guy, he's also awful at what he does for a living.
Oh,
on
like
TikTok,
the guy,
but
like the ladder,
the career ladder.
I saw that.
Yeah,
video.
so he like, have you seen these, Doug?
No,
This guy has like a ladder, and
"Let
like
me
random
guess your
strangers
job."
will walk up to him and he gets 2 minutes to ask them a
Oh,
bunch
I
of
have seen
questions and
this,
guess what
yeah.
they do for a living. And Thomasin McKenzie was in one of the videos,
yeah.
and she's just like, first of all, the guy doesn't recognize her, which is that like I guess it's fine if you don't watch movies or
Yeah.
whatever. But
I
then
didn't watch
at the
whole
very
yeah.
he like guesses that she's an actor, and then at the very end she's like, "Yeah, I was in Jojo Rabbit and Last Night at Soho." She's just like acting like she's not Thomasin McKenzie. She's like, "Yeah, I was in this movie Last Night in Soho."
Yeah,
And,
I was
like, it's like,
I was in an Edgar Wright movie co-leading with Anya Taylor-Joy. Like,
Yeah, and
It's
she's in
it's
Old.
very funny the way she's like, I don't know, it's sweet. Like she seems
No,
cool.
I think she's
She's
I've
in cool
been
stuff.
a fan of hers for a long time. I think she's incredible. But it's like weird
Well,
because I feel like she hasn't had like there's some actresses that are like not to name any names, but like higher valued in terms of industry. Like you know,
Yes.
they're on the top of the list for the industry. That are just like worse actresses.
And yeah, she's
Yeah.
just better than
Yeah.
them.
no, she's so good. Bro, it's such a shame. You know what it is? Last Night at Soho should have been good.
Yeah, well,
It
that's the thing.
sucks
If
that
that
movie wasn't
movie,
good.
if that movie was
Yeah,
good,
that movie was better.
That movie needed to be good, bro.
yeah.
That's
But I think
You
unfortunate.
had the
you know,
pieces.
she's young, right?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like 20.
No, yeah, I mean, listen, she's not gonna just like disappear.
How old is
She's
she?
from
Like,
24. She's 24.
She's 24.
Which is kind of crazy. I assumed she was young,
Well,
older.
I thought she was gonna be like 30.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the
Yeah, she
stuff you've
was
seen her in,
30.
she was like a kid.
So Old came out.
No,
in
I know she's young,
2021,
but
so
like
she
I
was
thought she was like
20
Hollywood
old.
young.
She was
I didn't realize she
21
was
and
like
old.
just like real life young.
Thomasin
That's
McKenzie.
crazy.
Oh, yeah. I'm literally older than Thomasin McKenzie.
No, I know. I
Jojo
was like,
Rabbit
he's
came out when
older
she
than
was
me.
19.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Last Night in Soho came out when she was 21. She was in The King, Power of the Dog. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like all of
she'll
her
be
movies
fine.
are very
She'll be
recent.
fine.
It's
Great
just,
actress.
Also, she did Eileen recently with Anne Hathaway, which like
Oh, I need to
also
watch that. I
probably
really want to watch that.
it's a good movie. It like that's like one of those things where it's like you're kind of making the right choice where it's like that's an adaptation of a book that a lot of people like, and like you know what I mean. It's like that could have been a bigger movie than it was. It
And also,
wasn't,
like,
but
with
it's
a
like
movie star like Anne Hathaway.
yeah, with Anne Hathaway,
yeah.
exactly. It's like there's a world in which Eileen is like this much more successful movie, and it looks good for her. So it's like it's not like she's not trying to be in projects that will
Sure.
like help her.
Yeah,
get
I
noticed
just
more. It's
I
fine.
guess she's 24, so she's fine.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't. I thought she was like
she's
older.
totally
I
I
just
mean,
you know
that's
the
so,
kind of
that's so
the
young.
old Last Night in Soho coming out in the same year, coming off of Jojo Rabbit. The movie's bad, but like
Yeah.
in terms of just like a
people
name,
love Jojo Rabbit.
so
It's
like
that.
that kind of run felt like it
It's
was
funny.
like she was gonna
People also
explode.
like
Last Night in Soho.
Last Night at Soho. We're
Yeah,
just
well, it just
assholes.
felt like
And
that.
people don't like old, and we love old.
It
So
felt
it's
like that
Yeah.
run was building up for her to be like mega star.
Yeah, she should have taken over the world after that run. To be honest, of Hollywood.
But to be
Even,
fair,
like,
it's been a couple years.
yeah.
It's not like she
It
can
was
still
it
do
was
it.
pre-pandemic. It was before the pandemic, right?
No, those come out.
Which one?
21. Those come out in 21.
Oh, it was 21. Sorry,
I
sorry.
mean, it's
I thought
4 years ago.
in my head I was like, that's like 2019 when those movies came out. But 21.
Jojo Rabbit
okay.
came out in 2019, but those two came out in
Okay.
2021.
Okay.
So yeah.
Paul Dano to write and in talks to direct a new untitled comedy for Universal Pictures. The Daniels are set to produce. It's described as a high concept original comedy. This will be his second movie that he's directing.
What did he direct?
Paul Dano should play M in the new James
Paul Dano,
Bond
he directed
series.
Wildlife with Jake Gyllenhaal. And who's in Wildlife?
That was a long time ago. Wasn't it like 2014?
2018. It's
2018.
Carey Mulligan and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Great actress.
It's okay.
Carey
I-
Mulligan
I-
also should be in Bond.
Yeah.
There's gonna be 50. There's gonna be
Anyway,
a
he's
lot of
doing
people
a
in
comedy.
Who does Ray Fiennes play in James Bond? Kevin, do you remember?
Voldemort.
Oh, isn't he just like the like M, but like
Is he M? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Paul Dano should play him in the new James Bond.
let me confirm. Yeah, Gareth Mallory, otherwise known as M.
Yeah, that should be Paul Dano in this new Denny Villeneuve
Mallory. I
movie.
don't know why I said Mallory. I just like I like forgot how to read for a second.
Wow.
No, that's not forgetting. You spelled it. You sounded it out. You just were wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys want to watch a Paul Dano comedy?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honest to God, I will only. I'm being so real. I will only see this movie if people say it's really good. Probably.
I didn't even see the Eisenberg film.
No, exactly. That's what I almost didn't see that. I didn't want to watch it, but I saw it because of you see something.
And that won an Oscar, right?
Yeah,
It did, yeah.
So
like unless it looks good, I guess.
if he cast
I'm-
Bradley Cooper or something,
Listen, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Actors turned directors aren't that interesting, to be honest. A
Yeah,
lot of
they
the time.
all.
I think that like I watched that wildlife movie when it came out, so my opinions on it are like whatever, like they don't exist. But like I think a lot of people actually like his debut, like quite a bit.
Yeah, I
So I
didn't
don't know.
even
Maybe
know
he's just
that.
like no,
I
yeah,
knew about this movie, but I hadn't seen
I've
it.
seen it, but I didn't see it because of Paul Dano. I saw it because at the time Jake Gyllenhaal was still like my favorite actor. So
Bro, this new
anyway,
Jake Gyllenhaal M Night movie is gonna be so big for us.
yeah.
It's gonna be a whole thing.
Last piece of news. It's not really a piece of news. I just thought it'd be fun to talk about since it's been the buzzy subject as of late.
Okay,
The New
okay.
York Times polled directors, actors, and other names in Hollywood to vote on a list of the best films of the 21st century, with Parasite taking the top spot. Any opinions about the New York Times 100 best
You
movies
see
of
what Ted
the last
Cruz said?
25 years?
Ted
Ted
Cruz?
Cruz
Yeah.
had an opinion about it.
Yeah, he was like, Hollywood doesn't know what the fucking people want. And it was really funny because a lot of people were reacting to this like as it like this was like
The
a
people
exactly.
are the ones
Well,
that
it's like they reached out to like actors and directors, but also like I think Seth and people we know also.
No, it was they. I have a little insider information about
Okay,
the
okay.
technical part of this. They reached out to Letterbox, and they were like,
Oh,
"Hey, we want like Letterbox community." They reached out to the company Letterbox, and they're
wow,
like, "Hey, we
Right.
want Letterbox community input." And then Letterbox reached out to a bunch
like
of
directors,
hot, like
actors.
Letterbox Letterbox
How do
users.
you think
That's smart. Yeah,
the list
Ted
would
Cruz
have
is an idiot.
changed if Owen was one of the names
They
that
want to change because
Letterboxd
I'm like
asked
I
They
need
want
like
to change
one.
it all because he's one
Yeah,
vote.
I'm like
He's
one vote.
um
That's what it's
yeah,
like. That's why it's like
because I know like obviously I know, like you said, like Seth, like that's how Seth got it because Letterboxd reached out to him. But
Yeah.
also, Felipe Furtado. Do you know
Oh,
who that
he
is?
put a vote in.
He voted in this too, so
Yeah,
it was like a
yeah.
lot
That's
of.
why it's like Ted Cruz is an idiot.
What? How does the voting work? Was it just like they
You put
send
your
in a list
10
of
movies,
10?
yeah.
Yeah, it's 10,
Okay.
and then
Alright.
it's like it's the same thing as the Sight and Sound. They just
Right.
Yeah. So
they
Okay.
did their own site and they did just just it's a less serious Sight and Sound poll
Yeah.
basically.
Paul
Yeah.
Dano's in the top 10, by the way. You want me to read you the top 10 just for the pod
he's
purposes?
in the
I'm sure you
top
guys have seen
10.
it already.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Like his
oh,
ballot or what do
oh.
you mean?
No, like the top 10 movies on the list. He has a
Oh yes,
movie
yes,
in
yes.
the
Okay.
top
Yeah,
10.
he's
Yeah,
saying
sorry.
when is he?
The
Where's he
Social
in?
Network, number 10. Number 9, Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Number 8, Get Out. Number 7, this is a weird pick. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Number
People
7.
like that movie.
That's a good movie.
People like
That's a
that.
good movie, but
No, it's a good movie. I'm just like kind of
Laundry.
shocked to see it at number 7. No Country for Old Men, number 6. Moonlight, number 5. In the Mood for Love, number 4. Number 3, the Paul Dano movie I was referencing. There Will Be Blood.
oh,
Number
he's of course.
number 2, Mulholland Drive. At number 1, like I said, Parasite.
Yeah, it's Parasite like kind of stick. Parasite's a great movie. It really sticks
Yeah.
out there at the very top compared to like around those other movies.
Yeah.
It's like funny though because it's like I get that people are complaining where they're like, "Oh, it's also like when you understand the nature of a list like this, did you expect them to pick
Yeah, what?
anything other than Parasite? Like
Yeah.
what other
Because
movie would it
like
be? It's
this,
like
it's probably like
obviously
the most
Parasite.
likely to be on everybody's list.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
notably, I'm assuming we mentioned it, but I think we talked. I was just thinking about the list and stuff like that. Because it's only this century. Like it's a big part about like it's not like when you say Sight
Right.
and Sound, it's like kind of different. It's different because of that, and I think that makes it probably like it's such a less interesting list. Not probably it is just because of that, but also it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting just as a what it is, but yeah, it's gonna be stuff that you've heard a billion times just because of that like parameter.
Something
Yeah.
I think is interesting is that Portrait of a Lady on Fire is lower on this list than it is in the actual Sight and Sound list, which is of like movies of all time.
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah.
You know what it is here?
I don't know.
I'm looking through
Like
right now. I'm
roughly?
just looking through the list trying to find the funniest placement of movie sandwiched between two
Oh,
other
yeah.
movies.
Well, the Hurt Locker is at 60 something, like 63, I think. And
How do we feel about well, this isn't I guess the sandwiching isn't really like that effective at what I'm getting across, but Arrival at number 29 just behind The Dark Knight and just in front of Lost in Translation.
Fuck.
It's not the two movies sandwiching it aren't good enough for it to stand out, but Arrival at 29 is kind of funny.
I think it's like lists like this are so funny because it's so mainstream and so popular, and it's like and it's not even so mainstream and so popular. It's so it's all Hollywood movies. Like I think one of the
Well,
most notable
not
things to
everything.
me is
Yeah,
almost
well, speaking
everything.
Like
speaking of
Cleaners and I
speaking
is
of
funny,
sandwich
so
like
that like
placements on the list, I sent Doug a tweet about how here's what number 33, A Separation, which is just behind Bridesmaids at number 32 and just in front of Wally at 34.
Yeah, and a separation like that's a really important like
Yeah. And to be fair, I do think
where's he from?
I'm kind of shocked that many people voted for Bridesmaids, but Iran. I'm
You're
kind
right.
of
That's what I
shocked
thought.
that many people voted for Bridesmaids, but I do think like getting a couple if this was going to be more of like a Hollywood representative list of the last 25 years, I do think you need like at least 2 or 3 like big studio comedies, and Bridesmaids is probably one of the biggest, but it is funny to have it just above A Separation.
Well, I just like
Um,
the only East Asian movies on this whole list are cartoons and In the Mood for Love. And that's it,
yeah.
literally. And it's like even talking about like I tweeted this out, which is silly, but it's like uh The Hurt Locker is now confirmed better than every single Johnny Toe movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like I don't know, this is all so silly.
Oh, there's
It's not a very worldly list at all. In perspective.
The godly list.
Moneyball being number 45 is also just like kind of crazy. Speaking of Brad Pitt, Moneyball at number 45.
That movie's
I'm kind of
good.
People
shocked.
like that movie.
No, the movie's good. That's like one of those ones where I'm like kind of shocked that
No,
that many
people
people voted for it.
really they're like
Yeah, I
Moneyball,
guess
the
they do.
greatest sports movie ever made or something.
Yeah,
I guess
people
they
do
do.
say that.
It's
People are
just
like
above
Moneyball made
Roma and behind
baseball
Once Upon a Time in
cool.
Hollywood.
It's like,
Interesting.
but like the way people talk about Moneyball is so stupid because it's like people being like, baseball is the most boring, fucking terrible sport in the whole world. The Moneyball somehow magically through the hand of God made it seem cool. And it's like, okay,
Okay, bro.
Oh yeah, here between Yorgos Lanthimos is The Favorite and Pan's Labyrinth is Borat.
Yeah, that's
Borat.
ridiculous.
No, this list is silly.
Yeah. Anyway, we won't.
Anyway, boycott the New York Times, bro.
That's also true. Yeah.
Fuck
that,
the New
like,
York Times.
I didn't even
bro.
want to. Yeah. I was like, fuck the New York. I hate the New York Times.
Actually,
I hated
fuck
them.
the New York Times.
I hated them before all this like recent stuff. Where
I
they just, like,
I hated them before they
videos
made this
about
list.
Zoran Mamdani. No, not the lit. Well, like,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I mean, they've been posting just like hit piece after hit piece
Yeah,
on Zoran
about
Mamdani, but
Zoran
they've also just
Mamdani.
like done this shit forever. Like they fuck the New York. Like I hate them so much. They have done nothing but bad work for the entire time that I've been alive, at least. Probably before that, but I can't attest to it.
The only negative pieces I want anybody to ever write about Zoran Mamdani are like really logical, calm, and calculated like responses to his policy positions. That's all I want people to like. It's like don't talk about Israel. That's not a policy position. Talk about his state-run grocery stores or something. Like
Doug, if you were mayor of New York City, would you visit Israel?
I would
Bro,
never visit
the
Israel.
video where they go like
No, but
down
if
the
you were mayor of
line,
New York
they
City,
go down the line and ask everybody. It's so funny.
It's so crazy. It's no, it's like in New York. Also, it's so funny that like Zoran Mamdani, granted, incredible speaker. I told my mom this yesterday. I think that Zoran Mamdani might be the best political speaker of my life. I think he might be a better at communicating policy ideas than Barack Obama, who is like who people say is like the best speaker ever. You know, it's like Zoran Mamdani
Obama's
is so
great,
good at speaking.
Yeah, he's
really.
good.
But also, the mayor of New York can't fucking do anything. Like I saw somebody on Twitter saying like the mayor of New York has more control than most state governors, and it's like no, he doesn't, bro.
He doesn't.
Like people don't understand how many mayors can you name. Like the mayors have no ability to do anything, bro.
You can name a lot of the New York ones, to be fair, which is probably why people can like think that much.
It's like
of them.
it's like the mayor.
You could name more mayors of New York than you can governors of New York.
Wrong? I can name more mayors of New York, yes.
Exactly.
But like it's like but a mayor has they have no money to work with. It's like all the like the governor handles all of their fucking state funding, and then it trickles down to them, and it's like all of your money that you have for the city is
money to work with when Trump was like, if he was like, where do you take all New York's money or something like crazy shit.
Yeah, it's
how many topics did we cover on this 2.5 hour podcast?
is a legendary podcast episode.
Pretty much everything that's been
I
on our
think it was
mind
funny
for
because
several weeks
when
has,
Kevin
has
saw F1,
found its
Kevin
home.
saw F1, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have like a 30-minute podcast because there's like nothing to talk
No,
To
about."
be
Kevin
fair,
was like,
how much of this podcast was us talking about F1 the movie?
F1 the
Oh, we talked
movie
a lot
or
about the sport.
F1? I mean, hey man, we getting pretty good at talking.
Yeah, well, good is
We've
it
been doing
depends
this
what
shit
you
for
define as
2
good.
Yeah, I saw some
years.
comment. They were like,
Yeah. Yes,
congratulations.
people were commenting. It's like, is it like our 2-year anniversary or something?
No, it's not.
or
But
just
I think that they
general?
just, I think they just went to the
think-
page and noticed that
I think-
we've been doing it for 2 years.
But I think
Yeah.
in terms of like episodes, or like we've done
Yeah,
more than 2 years of episodes.
yeah, no, for sure. Well, you could just tell by the numbers,
right?
of
So
the
yeah,
episodes.
I think it's more
Yeah.
past that, I guess. Then, so I don't know what that guy.
By quite a
they probably
bit.
just
Yeah, we're
noticed
coming
it.
up on 2.5 years of episodes.
Yeah,
here.
getting old.
Actually
Crazy.
getting old. That's fucking
Thomas
crazy.
McKenzie's 24 now. I'm fine. Owen Cooper's 15.
Yeah.
Just thinking of ages about this episode.
My
Okay,
friend
All right,
Max,
let's wrap it
our
up
friend
there.
Max is 37.
Gary,
It's fucked up.
Gary Condon is 30.
Yeah.
What did you say she was? You said she was 33?
What are we doing next week? What's going on?
Next week, episode 125, we are talking about a little known movie, Jurassic World
Jesus
Rebirth.
Christ.
Oh yeah, are we doing?
So-
Are we doing the fucking slop triple threat the next 3 weeks?
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'll be on.
Oh, and
We'll
are you
talk about it.
boycotting one of these movies?
I'll be somewhere.
Yeah, we'll
We
talk
have to
about
do
it.
Superman.
Yeah, I'll see it.
Okay. I think Fantastic Four is debatable whether or not we have to do that one. But,
Well,
okay, bye.
we'll get into it. We'll see you later.